line of scrimmage, the 28. Flag on the play, as carrying the ball is going to be Sammy Winder. Winder will bring it out to the 34-yard line, but flags both on this side of the field and the other. As Tom Dooley, the official, will sort this one out. Scott Studwell and Chris Dolman over to make the stop. It's going to go against the Denver Broncos. And I guess we'll expect some of that.
Offense. First down.
Lynn will talk a little bit about that, but let's look now defensively at this Minnesota team. They have 3 #1 draft picks up front. Martin, along with Millard and Chris Dolman. They're linebacking a new look, except for the guy in the middle. Studwell has been there forever. All-time leading tackler for the Minnesota Vikings. Henderson is a USFL product. Lee, Browner, and John Harris. Browner and Harris, the strength of that secondary. So the penalty now makes it 1st and 15. A delayed handoff coming off to Gerald WILLHITE. And WILLHITE gets 8 yards short of the first down. Henry Thomas made the tackle.
You alluded to the fact that the flag was thrown, and we might have to expect some of that in this ball game. It's true. Teams not been together, coming back. Timing's a bit off. Might be a few more mistakes. Teams jumping off sides. Could see a few more penalties this evening.
So it's 2nd down now. 8 yards to go. The Broncos have 2 receivers split to the top. Coming out of the shotgun this time, and now we have some movement changed by Ricky Nateel. The rookie had evidently lined up wrong. Now the throw over the middle to Orson Mobley, the tight end, and Mobley very close to the first down as he brings it out to the 38. Joey Browner over to make the stop. What a big target this guy is. 6'5", 256-pounder, second-year man from Salem College. It's going to be a first down.
Mobley getting downfield, making a good catch. Number 44, John Harris, the safety, came in and was blitzing on the play. Came in from the blind side of John Elway. But John Elway had the right play called. It was a quick passing play, got the ball off.
So the first down now moves it out to the 38. So they've overcome the 5-yard penalty to get their initial first down in this initial drive of the game. Mark Jackson comes motion to the near side. He's now set. Single running back is Winder. Bobby Mitchell, 46, the H-back in motion. Elway throwing and coming back to make the grab. Jackson. He'll be 2 yards short of the first down. Out to the 47. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Carl Lee over defending on the play.
What John Elway wants to do is to be able to control his offensive unit. They have a lot of people from the Viking defense up close to that line of scrimmage. They're going to have to run controlled short routes, get the ball away quickly, and force the Vikings out of that 46 defense.
2nd down, 2 yards to go. There's Lee again lined up on Jackson, split to the near side. What speed this Denver team has. And Nateel, Jackson, and of course Vance Johnson trying to sledge ahead, hammer forward to pick up the first down. Very close to it. The Broncos as they unpile. The interior of the defense, and in particular making that stop, was David Howard and Henry Thomas. And it will be another first down. Dan Reeves in his 7th year as head coach. 2 AFC championships. 1 wild card berth. And a guy who had to flex this week. They had to change hotels. They had to change the night of the game, and he just hopes it didn't affect the team too much. WILLHITE and Lang now, the running backs behind Elway on this first down. The line of scrimmage, the 49. Pitch comes to WILLHITE. Tries to cut it back. He'll get a yard to the 50, and that's all. Good defense on this Minnesota team, and in particular because of their speed. Henry Thomas, the rookie from LSU, and David Howard over to make the stop.
You see that speed. They're making adjustments very well in the offensive line, but the defensive unit's just playing off the blocks, drifting, reading the flow of the offensive unit. You see they're holding their positions. Defense is very much a game of reacting, reading and reacting. Denver's got to find a way to force the Vikings not to make the correct reads.
5 defensive backs now into this game for the Minnesota Vikings on a 2nd down and 9. Little delayed handoff comes to WILLHITE to the near side. He's got a big block to the 40. First down to the Minnesota 39. That was Keith Bishop, number 54, pulling the lead block. Cut down Jesse Sullivan, and that's the reason Bishop is a Pro Bowl performer.
Bishop, number 54, good speed. It's a big back, big guard, 6'3". 265. He gets up there very quick. Now you see this play, not the not the orthodox sweep to the outside. Denver's got a whole bag full of gadgets and tricks that they'll use in this ball game, trying to get to the outside.
First down now at the 39-yard line of Minnesota. This is the initial series of the game. Elway, far sideline, on target, Jackson. He's hit immediately by Wyman Henderson. As you can see, they're very close to the front of that chain to pick up the first down. They'll be about a yard short, it appears. But again, Elway on target, had something on that one, and Jackson, the second-year man from Purdue, coming up with the completion. Thus far, Elway is 3 of 3 for 24 yards.
And control is such an important part of any football game, but especially this football game. You don't want to get out of your game. You want to be able to stay under control, not have to be too fancy or too aggressive coming back in your first game.
They've held the ball already 5 minutes on this drive. Double tight ends. One of them is Mitchell in motion. They slanted straight ahead, pick up 4 yards. Scott Studwell made the stop on Gene Lang, the fullback. So to bring up now a second down. I check that. A first down as he picks it up inside the 30 and advances it to the 26-yard line. And this has been a very impressive drive. Lynn, they've mixed it up well, going on the ground as well as throwing.
This is the kind of control that Dan Reeves said he wanted from Elway. Not to go for too much, just take what the Vikings give you.
Winder and Lang in the backfield now behind Elway. Mishandled snap from center. You might expect that with Bryan out of there. Let's see who comes up with it. Larry Lee, the guy, the 7-year veteran out of UCLA, replacing Bryan. I think he recovered it, and he did.
We'll take a look from the end zone just to see if John backed away too soon. The ball comes up. Looks like it's a good snap. John loses it, but fortunately it is right between the legs of Larry Lee, so he can just fall right on top of it. It looks just like John Elway just pulled his hands out too quickly. The ball was up high all the way up, and he just never stayed in to grab it.
They're going to come out with 6 defensive backs now on this second down and 11. Gugamos and Rutland is checked in for Minnesota. Elway back, stayed in the pocket, on target. The catch is made by Natil, the rookie out of Florida, and he's all the way to the 5-yard line, a 23-yard gain. And that was excellent protection, good poise by Elway, and Natil making the grab, but it's going to come back. There's a penalty flag.
Excellent play. We've talked about the fact that Bill Bryant's not in there, but the line's doing a very good job of protecting Elway. He gets the time, finds his receiver, Ricky Natil, who's got great speed coming across the middle, but all is for naught as it's brought back because of a penalty.
It's hard to pick up anything on that particular play. It must have been away from the football. Natil coming across, Gugamos over to make the tackle, but the penalty will move it all the way back out to the 37-yard line. It'll be second down and 21 yards to go. Johnson, Natil, and Jackson, 3 wideouts on this play, and this is the 10th play of the drive now for the Denver Broncos. Natil goes in motion. Elway, some pressure. Near side, Vance Johnson makes the catch at the 30-yard line, but they're going to have a long ways to go still on third down as Joey Browner, who's made the Pro Bowl the last 2 years, over to make the tackle.
Joey Browner out of USC, a real aggressive, strong player, can do it all. Number 97, Henry Thomas, the nose tackle, was a man that came in, or excuse me, the defensive tackle was a man that came in and applied some pressure to John Elway.
I don't know if Dan's upset about that previous penalty that called the play back or what, but he is venting his frustration right now.
Well, there was a little jumping on the defensive line. He may have thought that the defense was offside and didn't get back in time, wanted the flag thrown. He was right there in a good position to see it.
This is the first third down on this drive, and Elway wants to think about it. So he will call a timeout with 7:21 to go in this first quarter. Denver has had the football the entire football game. Down on this drive. This is a very unusual start to a game, Lynn. Right now, the Broncos have had the ball 7 minutes and 39 seconds. They're on the 30-yard line of Minnesota. Still nobody on the scoreboard.
And it is the first drive of the evening.
I tell you, the Twins captured the imagination of everybody. This place last night, I came in here, and you could not hear yourself think. And I was curious about Whitey Herzog, if he could even appeal some of those plays at first base. You can't hear anybody when you go out and talk to the umpire.
And then after the game, everyone celebrating the fact that the Twins won. I came in from the airport. I had to walk 10 blocks to get to the hotel because you couldn't drive.
Well, we staged that. We wanted to keep you humble. Third down now, 14 yards to go. Elway, you can see, having to really yell out his signals. Flag on the play, stepping up in the pocket, and he's going to run with it. He'll get out of bounds at the 25, chased out of bounds on the near side by Reggie Rutland. But as we mentioned, a flag went into the air about the time the ball was snapped. So we're having a lot of mistakes, Lynn. I'm not surprised. Are you?
No, I'm not surprised. The defensive line, someone on the, I think it might have been Chris Dolman, number 56, one of the ends, jumped off sides.
Well, it's the third penalty of this drive, or if you will, the third penalty of the game. 7:13 left in the first quarter, and I would think that Wade Wilson, the Vikings, are getting a little frustrated. They'd like to get the football. Has there ever been a team keep the football the entire first quarter?
I don't think so.
Offside, number 75 defense, third down.
Let's see if we can pick it up on the replay. Who was offside?
On the right side of the screen, just before the ball snap, you see right there the movement. Doesn't get back in time. Might have been 79, Doug Martin.
I think it was Keith Millard, 75. There's Jerry Burns in his second year, 60 years young. 18 years, an assistant coach for the Minnesota Vikings. He's not very happy right now. All right, from the 25-yard line, third down, 9 yards to go. Elway, end zone, Johnson, touchdown. "25 yards from Elway to Vance Johnson."
And he didn't do it the easy way. He did it over number 47, Joey Browner. They had a couple of games running up front, no blitzing. That means they had 7 people back in pass coverage. But Vance Johnson gets behind Joey Browner, number 47, makes it look easy as he catches it backing up into the end zone.
Vance Johnson, his second touchdown catch of the year. That drive covering 72 yards. It took 7 minutes and 53 seconds. Rich Carlos now to attempt the point after. He's perfect thus far this year. 6 of 6. Gary Kubiak holding, and the Denver Broncos have a 7-0 lead.
Take one more look at this play from the end zone. A great drive by John Elway, typical of the growth he has made as a quarterback over the 5 years he has played for the Denver Broncos. He doesn't leave the pocket. He takes his time. 7:07 left in the first period.
Carlos kicking off now for the Broncos. Neil Gugamos, number 41, will bring it out for the Vikings, who trail now 7-0. Gugamos gets the alley to the near side, and he'll go out of bounds at the 35. And so the Vikings will get the football for the first time.
Now, we don't quite understand why Dan Reeves is upset. We're trying to find out. He is still arguing with the official over something that obviously displeases him.
That was during our break in the commercial. That was a tape piece. But Dan's been working him over pretty good the entire first quarter. His team had the football 7 minutes and 53 seconds, 11 plays, 72 yards, culminating in a 25-yard touchdown pass from Elway to Vance Johnson. So here's Wade Wilson, who was very, very good before the strike. Let's see if he can pick up where he left off. Throwing on first down, Steve Jordan, the tight end, and Jordan comes up with the catch. Dennis Smith defending on the play, and Jordan has just latched on to one, good for 23 yards.
Pro Bowl tight end. This is pretty daring. Coming back the first play, a little play action, holds everyone. His receiver just running a flag pattern, a short flag pattern, in front of number 49, Dennis Smith, also a Pro Bowl safety.
Last year, Jordan had 58 catches. The year before, 68. So he is one of the best. 6'4", 240-pounder. Alfred Anderson, the only running back in the backfield. He's got the ball, and they've got him. He didn't go anywhere that time. Double coverage that time from Dennis Smith and Jim Ryan. No gain on the play. Let's look now offensively. Nelson has led them in rushing the last 2 years. Carter, Lewis, outstanding wide receivers, and we mentioned the play of Jordan. Zimmerman's as good as anybody playing the game right now. He just sticks to people when he blocks them. Some changes up front. Loudermilk has replaced Dennis Swilley at the center spot. Swilley checking into camp injured this year. Second down, virtually 10 yards to go as Alfred Anderson and Darren Nelson in the backfield behind Wade Wilson. Delayed handoff to Anderson, the former Baylor standout. Advances to the 5-yard line. He'll be 3 yards short of the first down. Jim Ryan made the stop. Defensively for Denver, they made a change. Andre Townsend is at the left defensive end spot, replacing the injured Freddie Gilbert. Reagan then has started at nose guard. He was the starter of the year last year. And Rulon Jones, of course, the AFC Defensive Player of the Year last season. Linebackers, they can run, they cover well. Mecklenburg is a dominating player, and Hundley led him in tackling a year ago. And in the secondary, they think Harden played as well as anybody in the NFL a year ago. He had 6 interceptions. 3rd down, 3 yards to go. From the shotgun is Wilson. He's got some running room. To the 30, 25, and goes out of bounds. He surveyed that field very effectively that time, picks up the 1st down, and shows that he can run when the opportunity presents itself.
He's getting great protection. The defense for the Denver Broncos playing a combination man and zone coverage, and the receivers had them all spread out. He looked around, saw them all covered, took his time, picked up the 1st down, and stepped out of bounds. Just cool, calm, under pressure, leading this ball club.
Wade Wilson is their man right now. Tommy Kramer came into camp hurt. He may have a tough time getting this job back. 1st down, the line of scrimmage, the 23-yard line. 7-0 Denver. They scored on their initial series, and Minnesota trying to match that right now. Wilson back, over the middle. The pass is complete to Anthony Carter. 1st and goal at the 5. Dennis Smith really hitting. Carter is shaken up on the play.
Anthony Carter, a small receiver. He's only 5'11", 175. You see right there, he just steps in between the zone coverage, barely hangs on to the football and takes a good pop. But as soon as he got up, he looked over to the sideline, signaled to the coach, and he wanted to come out, and he's walking slowly off to the sideline. He didn't even make it down to the bench. He's bending over trying to catch his breath.
What concentration, though. He knew he had a shot coming. An 18-yard pickup, 1st and goal now at the 5-yard line. Carter's not very big, and Smith will hit with anybody. Hand off at T.J. Dozier, the rookie, and Dozier
Touchdown.
is in for the touchdown.
There's a meeting of some sort in the middle of the field.
There was a wait on that.
The official on the far side, far left, signaled a touchdown. He goes in over the left side where he's got Gary Zimmerman, standout, deep offensive tackle, and he just bulls over for the touchdown. The question here, probably by the officials to the right side on the camera side, is whether or not his knees were down before the ball broke the plane. The official on the far side, as a matter of fact, his knee was down. The official on the far side signaled a touchdown. The other officials weren't sure.
We're going to have a replay.
See right here, his knee is down, there's contact, and the ball had not crossed the plane. He sticks it over.
Well, I had to wait. I could not see. I know you called it because you saw the guy on the far side of the field, but the officials were indecisive, and now they're going to have the decision made, and I would assume that the replay will show just what we saw, that his knee did go down. Let's look at it again.
Take a look. There's a contact. The tackle is being made. His knee is down. The ball is dead. The ball is a good half yard to a yard from the end zone. Now the official over here, you see his legs just at the top of the screen. He is blocked off. He can't see that the knee is down. He's running up to the goal line to make the call. We'll take another look. Let's see the contact right there. That contact and the knee down constitutes a tackle. The ball is short of the end zone. It shouldn't be a touchdown.
That was Mark Haynes who made the stop. But let's see if he did in fact stop him short of the touchdown. That was one of those things where the officials were screened out. No one wanted to make the call, so they're going to make it upstairs. Al Sabato is our replay official, and so they'll wait for that determination to come down to the field. D.J. Dozier, by the way, their #1 draft pick on that national championship team from a year ago at Penn State. And he's been everything they thought he would be. He scored 2 touchdowns in the first game this year.
The only rookie in the history of this ball club to do so.
After review by the replay official, the runner was down on the 1-yard line. Second down on the 1-yard line.
I don't think if anybody could see the replay like we have, and the people, of course, watching at home would argue the case. Of course, this partisan crowd wanted to get it in, but they're still in good position. They have a 2nd and goal now at about the 1-yard line.
D.J. Dozier might be a little upset. It just brings his average average per carry down a little bit.
And it may keep him from getting a touchdown. Let's see who they're going to go with.
Well, in situations like this, the coaches might give him call his number again, let him score the touchdown.
Well, he's in there along with Rick Finney, the rookie from Washington, who they like to use in short yardage plays, and a double tight end alignment in Steve Jordan and Carl Hilton. Finney, big, strong fullback. Now Dozier's coming out, so he won't get a chance. Dozier comes out of the game. And now Anderson is in the backfield with Finney. Second and goal from the 1. Anderson diving. He didn't get it. Oh, did he get smacked back that time? That's Hundley, Ricky Hundley, number 98. Met him midair, and he didn't go anywhere on that play.
He certainly didn't. Hundley, the linebacker, number 98, times it perfect. You'll watch as the back goes up and into the air. Just as he gets right there, Hundley is right there to greet him. Hundley's one of those players who needs to continually play to improve. And the coaches felt that of all the people on the defensive starting unit, he could be the most affected by the strike, not having played for 3 games.
Now Dozier comes back in to join Finney. Dozier, the eye back, Finney, the lead back. Third and goal from the 1. Here's Dozier, and I don't know. No signal. I don't think he made it. Can you believe it? And it's 4th and goal.
They're trying to get the 1 yard in inches here. You see it again from our sideline camera. He goes up into the air, watch the goal line, see where the contact's being made, and it's close. But Tony Lilly, number 22, comes up and has enough momentum to stop him just short.
Also give credit to 98 again. That's Ricky Hundley. So they're going to have a timeout. They got to think about this one. Gary Burns has got to really be upset. It's 4th and goal when we come back. So 4th and goal, less than a yard. The Vikings electing to go for it.
I think they're afraid to let Denver have the ball.
And straight ahead this time is Wilson. Wade Wilson takes it in. So after being denied by the replay, they get it, but they have to go to their last down to do so.
Line charge was low. The defensive line was low. Wade Wilson, just enough room and the quickness to dive over. And that might be the key to that whole play for the Vikings in this drive. Instead of waiting for the timing of the back to come from the backfield up to the line, he just jumps before the linebackers have a chance to come up and make the play.
Chuck Nelson to try to tie this game up. Greg Coleman to hold. Nelson this year 7 of 7 point afters, and he's now 8 for 8. 7-7 our score. 3 minutes, 37 seconds to go as Wade Wilson taking it in himself. Impressive drives, the one by the Vikings, 64 yards in 9 plays, scoring on a 4th and 1. 4th and goal from actually inside the 1 on a Wade Wilson dive over the middle. That followed the drive by the Broncos that took 7 minutes and 53 seconds, covering 72 yards. And Chuck Nelson, who just tied the game up a moment ago, will kick off. There's the other game going tonight. Jeff Jager, who was a former teammate of Chuck Nelson's at Washington, has given the Browns a 3-0 lead over the Rams. Boy, the Rams have really been a disappointment thus far.
Interesting story there with Eric Dickerson and his contract talks.
Here's Nelson kicking off. This will be Gene Lang to bring it out for the Broncos. Out to the 20, 25, and he'll be gobbled up there at the 26-yard line. Looking ahead to this Saturday on college football from the Big Ten, we have a very, very important game coming up, and also for the Pac-10. UCLA and Arizona State. That'll be from Sun Devil Stadium, and UCLA right now, that may be their biggest obstacle to Pasadena in the Rose Bowl. And then Michigan State, a half game behind Indiana, the surprising Hoosiers, and Ohio State right on the heels of the Hoosiers as well as the Spartans. That will be our other game. Be sure to check your local listings, and we'll begin it all 3 o'clock Eastern. Look at this. Elway 5 of 5. Wilson hit 2 of 2. WILLHITE will carry, and WILLHITE will get maybe a yard, and that's all. Second down and 9.
I don't anticipate seeing Denver having a great deal of success running up the middle against the Viking defense. The Viking defense is playing strong. They're tough. The offensive line for Denver, not a real big offensive line, but they're quick. A lot of traps, a lot of influence blocks. So I don't really see them being able to muscle their way down the middle of the field.
Well, historically, neither team's been a good running team in years past either. 6 defensive backs jump in now for the Vikings on a 2nd down and 9. Mobley, the tight end, 89 in motion. Elway, protection there, and he's on target to Vance Johnson. Johnson, the ball fumbled and picked up. Running the ball is Wyman Henderson, but it's been blown dead. The ball is blown dead where the tackle was made, but Henderson carried it out anyway. You never know. Wyman Henderson out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
I think that was Carl Lee who comes up to make the tackle. Just a crossing route here. Johnson gets this ball and just sprints away from coverage. Again, the quick passing plays, short and controlled, but still coming up with the good yardage.
He obviously was down on that play. That was Lee who stripped the ball. Johnson with 3 catches now for 38 yards and a touchdown. Lang and WILLHITE, they're the running backs behind Elway. 3rd down, still 3 yards to go. In motion this time is Clarence Kay. Elway looking his way, then he overthrows his man. No one really opened that time. He just got rid of it. Mark Jackson was defended against very successfully that time by the interior of that secondary. That's the first incomplete pass tonight by John Elway.
And that's just the shortest drive. Only the 2nd possession. They're turning the ball over quickly now.
And so coming in will be Mike Horan to punt the football for the Broncos. He's punted 5, and this is Leo Lewis, number 87, going back. Horan out of Long Beach State. He was picked up in the 13th week last year by the Broncos and did an outstanding job for him. He was the 3rd punter the Broncos tried. Left footer, and he hit that one kind of funny. It's going to take a Bronco bounce, so he's going to get an excellent roll out of this one. All the way down to the 13-yard line. So the Vikings will get the football for the 2nd time, and that ended up being a 54-yard punt that time. Not very artistic, but very, very successful.
Not very artistic. And when you look at a punt like that, you have to say the responsibility for making that catch belongs with that returner. He's got to play himself no more than 40 yards away from that line of scrimmage. Then if the ball is short, he can come up, make the fair catch. If it's deep, he has time to get back and make the catch. That time, he didn't give himself the opportunity to make a fair catch. The result, 54 yards in poor field position.
Talking about Leo Lewis. Alfred Anderson, Darren Nelson in the backfield. Tied at 7. 1:54 to go in the first quarter. Nelson trying to go wide, and he is caught from behind by Ricky Hundley. Now that is something to see a linebacker from the backside haul down Darren Nelson. That gives you a little bit of idea how fast this 250-pounder is.
Well, one of the reasons why he was able to make the tackle is that his number 66, Terry Tao, was out blocking in front of him. And then Mike Hart, number 31, came up and caused him to just stretch the play out. Then he submarined it just to take out the guard. The running back stretching it out. Man comes in from behind.
Boy, he filled in a hurry. A loss of 2. 2nd down, 12. Dozier in the ball game now. Leo Lewis in motion. Wilson back. Making his break is Anthony Carter, but he can't catch up with it. Double coverage on this near side. Tony Lilly along with Mark Haynes over there, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. But we talked at the top of the show about what happened after the strike was over. Chicago winning yesterday. Jim McMahon bringing him from behind. Right now in excellent position. Look at Minnesota, though. They've got a lot of uphill battles to fight. And then in the AFC West, surprising San Diego is 5-1. Boy, their replacement team really put them in a great spot. Denver could be a half game back if they win tonight.
And Denver knows they can't let the teams get out in front of them too far. 1985, they were 11-5 and didn't make the playoffs.
3rd and 12, 6 defensive backs in for the Broncos. Wilson throwing, that's a bad throw. Dozier, the short man, Carter further up the field, but not close to either one. I don't think he could see very well. He had a defender in his face. That was Simon Fletcher, number 73. And Fletcher, at 6'5", really made it tough for him.
Fletcher came in and made a hit. He was close enough, had the one step, made the contact with the quarterback, took him down. If he hadn't gotten the ball away, it would have been a safety.
Here's the number 1 draft pick of the Broncos, Natil, from the University of Florida. Boy, what a great preseason he had. Had 2 effective games, and then the strike, and I know people are waiting to see him. Greg Coleman the punt, and Coleman, who had 1 blocked before the strike, gets this one underway to the 50-yard line. Natil there, up to the 40, and the speedster is dropped at the 37. The ball is blown dead. That'll be a 39-yard punt by Coleman, and the Teal with a 13-yard return before Walker Lee Ashley came up with a stop. Well, next week, a week from tonight on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, two traditional NFC East rivals. As the Giants take on the Dallas Cowboys, that's 9 o'clock Eastern. The Giants finally won one yesterday. I don't know that. It's going to, you know, there's some talk. They're going to have meetings tomorrow in Kansas City. There's talk of voting for a split season. And teams like the Giants and these Vikings would love to see that.
I think a split season would be totally unfair.
Lang, WILLHITE in the backfield on a first down, and they pick up 2 yards. That's WILLHITE carrying as we come to the last 40 seconds of this first quarter. What we mean by a split season is they're talking about playing an 8-game season, then determining who has won the division, giving them playoff spots, then playing the remaining part of the season, and what spots would be left, they would come in to the playoff picture.
I think it's unfair to the coaching staffs who had to build programs to try and put teams in the field. I think he destroyed a great deal of the public trust. We were all told that these games counted.
Second down and 8, Elway to WILLHITE. WILLHITE gets a block from Lang, and he makes it to the 35. Picks up maybe 2. Scott Studwell over to make the stop as this first quarter is coming to a close. 7-7. The Broncos and the Vikings will return to the Metrodome. After this match at a place that's been the focal point of the baseball world for some time, the Metrodome, and inside, what is it? It was 45 degrees at kickoff, and in here it's a very pleasant, what did they say, 72 degrees? I forget, but it's certainly not as cold as it is outside.
68 or so, energy efficient.
Energy efficient. We start the second quarter. It's third down and 8 now for the Broncos. 7-7 our score. In motion goes Mark Jackson, and in motion's the entire defensive line of the Minnesota Vikings. Were they drawn off? That's Millard. They were drawn off. Let's look now at the first 15 minutes of action statistically to see what happened. And if you look at the rushing yardage, it's very, very equal. The Broncos getting better of the passing and a little bit of the total yardage. And look at the time of possession.
Well, that great drive by the Denver Broncos, eating up 7 minutes, 39 seconds in the first period, controlling the football, setting the tempo. That accounts for, obviously, important, I think, is the fact that there are no turnovers in the first quarter. Both teams attempting to play controlled football, eliminate as many mistakes as possible.
Well, that penalty was against the Broncos. They did draw the Vikings offside, so it's third down now, 13 yards to go. Rick Massey, Mark Jackson, Vance Johnson, and Ricky Nattiel have all come in. 4 wideouts on this play.
I was talking with Vance Johnson before the game. He said he thought they had a great advantage with all the speed that they could put there in that team on offense.
In motion comes Johnson. Elway back on 3rd and 13. A man clearing over the middle. That's Johnson and broken up nicely. That's John Harris, number 44, who has 44 career interceptions, the most in the NFC. Upset he didn't come up with it, but I tell you, had he not been there, there was a lot of running room for Mark Jackson over the middle.
A lot of room for Mark Jackson. John Harris coming in via the trade with Seattle. But number 82, Vance Johnson, just streaked down the field, down the center of this field. If Elway had seen him and just laid it out into the end zone, no one would have caught him before he and the ball got to the end zone at the same time.
4th down, 13. That means that Horan will have to punt, and Leo Lewis goes back to the 10-yard line for the Vikings. That first punt of 54 yards, a little misleading. He got a great roll on it. Snap is there, and he hit this one off the side of his foot. See if he gets a break on this one. No, won't happen this time. There is a penalty flag, though, at the 50-yard line. Did they run into him?
I think we're going to have a roughing the kicker.
Walker Lee Ashley, a linebacker, was there where the flag was thrown. Let's see if that's what it is. Boy, is that a costly penalty for the Vikings.
That penalty is equal to a turnover because they maintain possession. You see there, he's being blocked. He just runs into him. Now, most people here would say, well, he was blocked into the kicker. He wasn't blocked into the kicker. He had control. He just reaches out, runs into him, and grabs him, and the official makes a play.
I thought it was nice the way he set him down.
Well, he wasn't too tough about it.
Well, what that is, obviously, is an automatic first down, and it sets it up at the 35. Walker Lee Ashley has been playing very well on their special teams, but that was a mistake.
Interesting. The first offensive possessions for both teams resulted in touchdowns after that. Back and forth.
Elway to WILLHITE on their first down effort. He picks up 5 to the 30-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 5 there. So the mistake gives the Broncos the football, and they're going to try to take advantage of it. They started this game with a drive of 72 yards to take the lead. Since has been tied up. Walker Lee Ashley's back in there making that stop. He's probably in there trying to redeem himself right now. There's the penalties, and we may see a little of that, quite a bit of it, in fact. Both teams may be a little rusty, a little shaky after the layoff. Here's WILLHITE again on a 2nd and 5. He's for the 10. He's in. Touchdown? No, they caught him at the 1. It looked like he would make it in, and all of a sudden Browner, who was so strong, reached over, caught him by the shoulder pads, and dropped him. And he's shaken up. WILLHITE is shaken up. Is that strong or what? We've heard about how strong Joey Browner is. Look at this.
Very strong. But what's going to happen here that causes the injury to WILLHITE is the leverage. Watch as he grabs him from the back, and watch his legs. There's Joey Browner, 47, tackling 47. Watch the strain right there, just back on the legs, and how it's caught right there.
So WILLHITE shaken up. The Broncos will have it to 1 when we come back.
Well, we smell a blowout in Cleveland. LA's Jim Everett set to pass here, and Felix Wright's going to step in front of Henry Eller. There's the pass, and there is Wright, clear sailing all the way. He's going to go 40 yards for the touchdown, and Cleveland now leads at 17-0 over the Rams.
Well, 17-0 there, and we thought it was going to be 13-7 here, but look at this play by Joey Browner, and concern now about Gerald WILLHITE.
It's the right leg. You saw it right there,
man.
just buckled under.
Oh, I just saw that on the replay. That's awful.
Similar to the kind of break you saw when Joe Theismann in Washington was tackled, and it just broke right there. It looked like it was at the ankle, maybe just above the ankle, that it just bent.
Well, Browner is so strong. I want to go back to that. They talk about there are 2 guys that's played in the history of the Vikings that have such strong arms and hands. One was Alan Page, and the other is Joey Browner, and it was so evident on that play. He caught WILLHITE, who was going full steam, and absolutely changed his direction just by grabbing him at the shoulder pads, and that's hard to do.
WILLHITE is a very strong runner, good legs, muscles through a lot of tackles that way. Most people would have carried, been able to carry a tackler from behind into the end zone. He's making good cuts here. He's running fluid. He probably thinks, I've got the speed. I'm in the end zone. Joey Browner is just closing. He knows he's got to get to him quick. Body strength, upper body strength, and right there, that leg just buckled under. And if it's not broken, then the ligaments are severely damaged in that ankle.
I can hardly watch it. That was a 29-yard run by WILLHITE, and as you can see, the longest by a Bronco this season. But obviously, that's not of great importance right now, as he goes out, great deal of pain. And okay, 7-7 our score. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth. We're working together to be the best.
And Gary, you talk about that, the shortened season because of the strike and the 8 games. This is one of the reasons why I think it's so unfair if they reduce that schedule and make it a shortened season. Just on the Denver team alone, Steve Watson
trying to sneak it in, and the touchdown is scored straight ahead that time, taking it in, and the Broncos able to get it in, but I'm sure right now they're a little distracted just as we are.
See, they scored the touchdown, but as I was saying, Steve Watson had 6 fractured ribs. They lost Billy Bryan. Now they lose Gerald WILLHITE. To have these players come out here and risk injury and sustain injury and then tell them it was for nothing, I think is absolutely ridiculous.
That's a good point. Carlos now, point after attempt. Kubiak to hold. So Elway able to cap that drive after the 29-yard run by WILLHITE. Carlos gets this one up and through the uprights. And Tom Dooley indicates that the Denver Broncos have a 7-point lead. They lead it 14-7. Well, last night after Game 7 was over, there was a virtual traffic jam for hours after this facility started to empty out the celebration. And we're going to have the MVP of the World Series as our guest, Frank Viola. And with him is Mark Stevens of KSTP here in Minneapolis. He's at his home, and we'll be visiting with him later in this broadcast. Guggemos now returning it for the Minnesota Vikings. And he'll bring it out to the 31-yard line. Viola, who went 8 strong innings, retiring 18 of the last 20 Cardinal batters. And then, of course, Jeff Reardon came in, shut the door, and what a celebration ensued. I think they're still celebrating around here.
I think if they're not celebrating, the people who did last night are sleeping it off.
There was somebody down the hall for me that was celebrating all night.
I was on the 19th floor of my hotel, and I could hear the people celebrating like they were right next door.
We understand that WILLHITE's injury, the preliminary call on it is a dislocated ankle, but we'll get further on that. He leaves the game, 8 carries, 57 yards. But we'll update that for you. Here's Darren Nelson carrying, and he maybe got a yard, and that's all. Jim Ryan is there. Ricky Hundley is also there on the stop. Darren Nelson out of Stanford, the leading rusher the last 2 years for these Vikings. And Jerry Burns says pound for pound, he's as good a football player as there is in the NFL. Very courageous guy. Only weighs about 185 pounds, and he's 5'9".
He's 5th on the all-time total yards mark with the Vikings, 6,672.
Wade Wilson in a catch-up posture once again with 13 minutes to go in the first half. He has Dozier and Anderson behind him. That's Dozier. Check that. Anderson going in motion. Wilson looking that way. He'll deliver to DJ Dozier. The rookie across the 40 has a first down to the 43. And that's what they like about this Penn State rookie. He can catch the ball and do something with it in the open field. A 13-yard pickup. Jim Ryan over there to make the stop. Dozier is second only to Kurt Warner in the rushing annuals at Penn State, and that's pretty good company, those two.
Excellent company. Quick, strong, great hands.
So now he'll come out. Darren Nelson comes in. He'll join Anderson in the backfield. The first down out to the 43-yard line. 14-7. Denver with the lead. Wilson play action. Excellent protection. And over the middle to Anthony Carter. He's to the 40. It's another first down.
Anthony Carter, first-round draft choice out of Michigan. We saw him coming out of the ball game earlier this evening after he took a good shot. One of the big questions was always, is he big enough? Can he handle the punishment in the National Football League? Right here, he's going across the middle, the most dangerous territory on any football field, in front of 49 Dennis Smith, and he's making the catch and coming back.
17-yard pickup to the 39-yard line. Dozier back in with Anderson. Both these teams moving the football. Wilson off to Anderson. Flag on the play. Flag went into the air almost about the time the ball was snapped. Carl Mecklenburg, 77 there.
Mecklenburg playing linebacker. They'll move him around all over just to get the most advantageous blocking scheme for his pass rush. Right there, he just takes the angle and gets around number 76, Tim Irwin. Makes a stop behind the line of scrimmage.
Penalty going against the Denver Broncos. And it'll move the ball inside the 34. It's offside. I don't think Dan Reeves is very happy about that. There's evidently something going on in that line of scrimmage that's causing some problems, and he is not very happy about it. Earlier, he was upset about it. Anderson and Nelson now in the backfield. Here's Darren Nelson. Cut back. Look out. Wilson tries to throw a block for him, but he can't because Mike Harton, number 31, fought it off and made the stop. So Wade Wilson was out there trying to help Nelson around the corner, but Harton, who we talked about at the top of this broadcast, in the estimation of the Bronco coaches, is as good a football player as there is in the NFL.
And there's a little bit of complaining about this tackle here. He grabbed his face mask right there. It looked like he just put his hand on it. He may have grabbed it just a bit, but he actually looked like he was trying to be careful making this tackle.
Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, I'm not. He just looked like he was being careful.
Second down, 3. Dozier and Anderson in the backfield. Leo Lewis in motion. Outside pitch to Anderson. Anderson lowers his head, and he's got the first down. What a collision with Mark Haynes, the left side cornerback. They went helmet to helmet on that one, and Anderson knew where he had to go to get the first down, and he got it.
They always tell you to go low when you've got a big man to tackle. It's a big tight end, a big wide receiver, a big back. That time, Mark Haynes was coming up against number 46, Alfred Anderson. Alfred, his intention was to lay a lick on him to pick up that first down, and he just got low enough.
Alfred Anderson last year was the #2 rusher. Rees, his team on top 14-7. Right now, though, the Vikings have a first down at the 27-yard line of Denver. Wilson, crossing pattern over the middle. Waited for the back. Nelson on a delay pattern out of the backfield, and he could not come up with a completion. Let's pause now. 5 seconds for our stations to identify themselves.
KUSA TV, a station of the Gannett Broadcasting Group.
9 to go in the second quarter. Denver leads the Minnesota Vikings 14-7, but the Vikings now have a second down 10 at the Denver 27-yard line. Denver scored first. The Vikings tied it up, and Denver again with the lead. Wilson back. Excellent protection. All kinds of time to throw the football. And a breaking Carter at the goal line. We're going to have interference on that one. Harden hitting prematurely.
There'll be a flag. Mike Harden, number 31, climbing over the back of Anthony Carter. You'll see the whole play right here. Wade Wilson had excellent protection. Rulon Jones, number 75, was being double-teamed. He was tight in the pocket. He just stayed there. Receivers getting ready, running broken patterns. But watch here, as the ball's in the air, that hit right there on the side of the helmet as he comes around. A lot of times, they think an official may not see that play. That's why they do it. They just wrap the arm, and you see Anthony Carter getting up, pleading his case, but the official was right on top of it to call it.
That amounts to a 26-yard penalty. Sets it up first and goal at the 1. Rick Finney and Dozier in the backfield. First and goal at the 1. Dozier, he's in.
Dozier getting a touchdown back over the top. This time they decide to go just off the left tackle behind 65, Gary Zimmerman, best offensive lineman.
He's an excellent offensive lineman. Second-year man out of Oregon, played in the United States Football League. Point after attempt now by Nelson. Greg Coleman to hold, and they'll try to tie it up at the 9:18 mark of the second quarter. Wayne Jones will snap it. The ball's down. The kick's through, and it's even. 14-14. 7 plays, 69 yards. And that 26-yard penalty set it up. First and goal at the 1, and the Vikings capitalized on it. Hey, we expected a high-scoring game, and thus far it's headed that way. 14-all, and the Denver Broncos, even though they're deadlocked, look at the time of possession in the first quarter. And then in the second quarter, Minnesota kind of closed in a little bit, didn't they?
Far. Closing the gap.
One of the big stats of this game is Denver has been assessed for 51 yards and 5 penalties. That last one, a 26-yarder, setting up the first and goal. Gene Lang will run it out now for the Broncos. Got some running room. He'll bring it out to the 33, and the Broncos will have it there.
And the 14 points that both teams have scored, we've seen two completely different ball clubs. The first 7 points for each team. Control drives down the field, very professional, and they look very good. The second 7 points for each team, both touchdowns for each team came as a result of a penalty that sustained the drive. So we've seen basically two kinds of football this afternoon, so this evening in the first half.
So John Elway, you see his numbers. He had 30 completions in his last game. That was a tie against the Packers. He has Lang and Winder in the backfield behind him. First down now from the 33. Jackson, number 80, goes in motion. Following him is Lyman Henderson. Throw to the far side, McKeel, and Henderson, who went in motion, got over there and made the stop. He was right where the ball was, along with Carl Lee, so they actually took Henderson to the point of impact.
What happens is there's man-to-man coverage. You see him going in motion, Mark Jackson. He's bringing his man over to the quick screen. If it was zone coverage, he could pick up the corner, and that's what he's supposed to do. He's going out to block the corner. But because it's man-to-man coverage, he brings the extra man unaccounted for in the blocking scheme to make the tackle. That was number 39, Carl Lee.
Boy, they played into their hands that time. Second down and 12. Loss of 2. Elway from the shotgun. Receivers wide left, wide right. the big tight end Mobley, 89 in motion. Crossing over. The catch is made by Vance Johnson to the 35. That's only a gain of 2 yards. Carl Lee over to make the stop.
That's the flexible, bending kind of defense. You see Cleveland just jumping all over the Rams.
I wonder if that Eric Dickerson scenario is distracting the team. You wonder what weapons they have in Jim Everett and Ron Brown and Eric Dickerson, and they're scoreless in that game.
It has to be distracting. Eric Dickerson is, without a doubt, one of the finest, if not the finest player in the National Football League at the running back position. But to renegotiate the contract in the summer, then come back and ask for more, is distracting.
On a 3rd and 6. Flag on the play. Johnson's got a beat. Oh, what a catch. What a catch by Johnson. But there's a penalty flag. It's going to go against Denver. "51 yards, but it's going to come back."
The man holding, and I think that's what the penalty is going to be, was number 72, Keith Kartz, on the play.
He's one of those replacement guys. He played during the strike out of California. One of 4 guys that Dan Reeves.
Hands, number 72 offense, 3rd down.
He is one of 4 guys that Reeves activated off the replacement team for tonight's game.
Well, if you got your choice of holding and getting your quarterback killed, you hold. Because he was holding number 75, Keith Millard, who was coming in on John Elway, and if he didn't grab him to do something, he would have had a clean shot.
Well, he may not get Elway killed, but he may get killed when he gets on the sideline.
He doesn't help his cause any, that's for sure.
3rd down now. 17 yards to go after the penalty. 6 defensive backs in for the Vikings. There's that penalty yardage again. Guarded him out for Denver. Elway running out of the pocket. He's flushed out, and he just has to get rid of it. Now, there's an interesting scenario there. And Dan Reeves talked about this today. He said the Vikings are one team that Elway cannot run away from because they have such good team defense and speed.
They have great defensive speed. Number 75, Keith Millard, who's a defensive tackle, is a man who broke through in the center, along with Doug Martin, number 79, on the outside. They gave chase, but it was a controlled chase. Didn't let him get to the outside, didn't let him come forward. Elway, smartly looking downfield, saw a receiver in the vicinity, but it was a low pass, so it can't be picked off.
But Elway can run as well as any quarterback in the NFL. He talked about Roger Staubach might have been a little quicker, but Elway was faster.
Yeah, we told him Roger had moves, Elway doesn't.
Moran to kick. This one he hits very high. Leo Lewis calls for the fair catch, backs up and has it at the 30-yard line. So the Vikings will have it after a 44-yard punt that time by Horan. It's 14-all at the 6:54 mark of the 2nd quarter. And looking ahead, we talked about Roger Staubach. Well, what about next Monday night? As we'll be bringing you a ball game between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants, live 9 o'clock Eastern. Sims had a great game yesterday for the Giants. I was surprised by the Dallas Cowboys, though. They've been struggling a little bit.
It's a rebuilding year for them.
Nelson and Anderson in the backfield. 1st down now from the 30-yard line. Wilson on 1st down to throw. And it's intended for Darren Nelson, intercepted by Mark Haynes. Underthrown that time. Nelson waiting on the football. Haynes had position, and he has the ball.
This ball just thrown up in the air. It just hangs. Mark Haynes, he's taking his time. Watch, he'll just judge it, take his time, goes up for it. Looked more like a center fielder than the defensive back waiting for that ball.
Haynes has had some great years. 4 years with the Giants, he was all NFL. Of course, now he's playing because Louis Wright decided not to come back this year, so he's a starting cornerback. And I don't think the Broncos know yet why he hasn't come back.
Well, we asked Dan Reeves about that. He said he came in one day. There was a note that was given to him that was left with the team owner, and he said, you know, I'm retiring. Thanks. I've had a great time. Played for the finest organization in football. See you later. And he hasn't talked to him, hasn't been able to talk to him since.
One of the outstanding cornerbacks, not only in Bronco history, but in the NFL.
Gave me fits.
1st down now. Elway again running out. This is underthrown, and coming over the ball is Harris. What happened was Jackson was on a fly pattern. but Elway didn't have enough time for it to make his break and get open. And he had to underthrow it as Millard and David Howard came pouring through on John Elway.
Yeah, we talked about Elway and his foot speed. Look at the pressure right up the center. He's running, there's pressure on the outside. He just flicks the ball away. And look, the receiver hasn't even turned around yet. Ball just dropped short. The closest man to it was safety 44 John Harris, who was trying to sprint over and pick it off.
Denver's quarterbacks have only been sacked 7 times this year. They protected Elway well last year, giving up 35 sacks. 6 defensive backs on the 2nd and 10. Lang out across the 30, 35. Good effort by Gene Lang, and he is very close to that first down as he's out to the 38. Gugamos and Jesse Solomon over, and it is a first down. Just on a good, gutty second effort by Lang.
The man who snaps the ball, 68, Larry Lee, we talked about him earlier, making the line calls, snaps the ball, and you see him right out there, get out in front of that quick screen, makes a good block to give Gene Lang just enough time to pick up that first down.
Harris missed a tackle that would have stopped him short of the first down, but now it is a first down, just short of the 39-yard line. A lot of weapons for the Broncos. Wide receivers, those backs can come out of the backfield as they did there. Winder and Lang behind Elway on this first down. Jackson in motion. Good reaction by Keith Millard as he able to gobble up the ball carrier for about a yard gain. Bursting through first, though, was 51 David Howard. But then Millard, who's kind of like a street fighter, who is just one of those guys who scraps and every play. He made the stop. It'll be second down, virtually 10 yards to go.
One of those great plays to watch on defense where the teamwork and the right one comes in, crashes the play down, forces him to the inside. Millard just scraping down the line of scrimmage.
Handoff by Elway, rolling left. And a very fine catch is made high in the air inside the 45-yard line. That is the tight end, Clarence Day. And in the estimation of Dan Reeves, he's playing as well as any tight end in the NFL. 16-yard pickup. Joey Browner made the tackle.
He's got one of the little gadget plays. We told you they've got a full bag. Trick plays right here. He fakes a little reverse, and he actually has a receiver going deep, but he has a backup, an option, which is Clarence Kay, the tight end, coming short across the middle. Coverage was great deep, so he finds a short man.
Kay battling back from some personal problems. That's his 8th catch of the year. Lang and Winder in the backfield. First down, Elway on the move. Finds his secondary receiver, Jackson, at the 40. Good second effort by Mark. And he is about 2 yards short of a first down before Jesse Solomon made the tackle on him on the near side.
Once again, it's a great job by the line. Number 70, David Studdard. You see him taking away the pressure, pushing him to the outside, giving Elway enough time. I'm very surprised that Elway has not been able to go deep with his receivers. He's got great speed with them on that line, but he just hasn't been able to get behind that secondary.
Boy, he's spreading it out. Those 6 receivers have made catches in this game. Going for the first down on a second down and a long 3 is Winder. Let's see if he got it. Winder has been the leading ground gainer for these Broncos the last 5 years. Studwell and Howard made the stop. Are they going to measure? They may have to. Let's see. Nope, they're going to say it's short. It's third down and a matter of inches. That's our score, and we have 3:20 to go in this first half. Both teams moving the ball very efficiently. Both teams capitalizing on penalties. Elway and Wilson with a real arsenal around them. We expected a high-scoring game, and it very well could be. Going for the first down is Winder. I don't know. Got back. Good reaction by Tim Newton, the man known as Icebox, 287 pounds. Boyd Peters, the defensive coordinator, said he's the fastest 287-pounder he's ever seen.
Well, the Icebox said this refrigerator or this Icebox is full. There's no more that can come in here. He stops him. I think he stopped him short of that first down.
He did.
And the official says, yes, it's fourth down, about a half yard.
Well, we've had some very tough ground to pick up, haven't we? Those goal line stands, and here we go on another fourth down. Winder and Lang behind Elway. That's Steve Sewell, number 30 in motion. Elway, the winder, he's jammed up. Check that, it's Lang, and he doesn't get it. Gene Lang stacked up.
Number 97. I think that was Henry Thomas. He got in there. Submarine came low, reached up and grabbed Lang. He had the feeling they'd go to the left side behind Keith Bishop. He gets a handoff right there, and you see Lang being stopped there by number 97, Henry Thomas. Again, he gets penetration, he slips off a block, comes in low. Boy, that's great defense.
Oh, it is. And Henry Thomas has been a big surprise. He's their third-round draft pick out of LSU. He has a veterans talking about him because he's playing so well. He has been the biggest surprise on this Viking team. So on a first down, pitches it off to the near side to Anderson. Anderson spins across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Pick up a 5. It'll be second down 5. Greg Cragen, the nose tackle, over to make the stop, and we are approaching the 2-minute warning. 14-14 our score from the Metrodome. Both these teams all even as we have 2 minutes left till the halfway. We completed the 2-minute warning. Second down 5 now for the Vikings. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. 14 all. Been kind of an interesting football game thus far. The Viking touchdown Hankies. The Homer Hankies to the touchdown Hankies, huh? I don't think these people have any emotion left. There's so much going on here. Wilson on 2nd and 5 over the middle. That's the big tight end, Steve Jordan, and he lumbers and roars down to the 35. First down. Huntley caught up with him. 23-yard gain. And when he gets to the open field, you better be thinking about a collision.
6'3", 239 pounds. He had 4 catches for 81 yards before they went on strike. He is a big, strong man. He'll just take you on as soon as before he'll run around you.
He has 2 catches in this game for a total of 46 yards. And now we're going to have a timeout. The Vikings will have 1 remaining. Stopping the clock with 1:34 left. Jordan, by the way, they call him Ivy. He went to Brown University. In fact, he is an engineer and very bright guy out of Phoenix South Mountain High School, where both his parents are teachers. And so Ivy that time lumbered over the middle and caught the ball and moved it to the 35-yard line. And the Vikings now with 1 timeout remaining.
And it doesn't matter whether it's the Ivy League or the Pac-10 or the Big Ten. You get to catch a pass across the middle and somebody's after you. You run.
Well, the Rams got on the scoreboard 20-7 as they trail Cleveland. Well, we're indoors where it's beautiful, 68 degrees. I would imagine up there in Cleveland Stadium, it's a little bit chilly tonight.
A bit chilly. And they've got that open stadium. It's a baseball stadium. The wind comes sweeping in off the lake. And the boys from the West Coast at this time of the year have a tough time playing in the East.
Here we go.
North.
First down now from the 35. 1:34 left. 1 timeout remaining for the Vikings. And that one's going to be intercepted. That's Harden who picks it off, brings it out to the 28-yard line. So Harden with his 2nd interception of the year. He picked off 1 against Seattle in the first game. And that was a very good catch. He caught that ball high and away. There is a penalty flag back at the 45-yard line.
Holding on number 66, I believe, Terry Tao, which they will refuse.
Obviously, Wilson, I don't know who he was throwing to on that play. Just nobody in the vicinity of the football except Harden.
Take another look at it. I was sitting there watching his protection. It looked good with all the holding going on right there.
Well, I guess Lewis was close, but not very close.
Harden just read it, did a good job, stepped right in there, picked it off. Again, first game, they're coming back. We expect to see a lot of mistakes.
Sewell now in the ball game with Ken Bell. So at the minute 24, the Broncos will try to do something with it. They have 2 timeouts left, and that ball on a line to the teal. That shows you the athletic ability of John Elway. He threw that ball a long ways to the far side to complete it for 16 yards.
The secondary is going to play real deep, give Elway a lot of room to throw underneath or throw short, but he gets excellent protection here, so if receivers get a chance to get farther downfield. You saw number 47 that time coming into the backfield. That was Joey Browner, the safety, and blitzed in on that play. but the Denver Broncos did a good job of picking it up.
Elway now 12 of 16, 115 yards, 1 touchdown. First down at the 44-yard line. 6 defensive backs in again for the Vikings. 1:18 to go, first down. Millard comes through. Elway's going to take off. He's going to try to get out of bounds. He does. He stops the clock as he goes out at the 46-yard line. Again at halftime, we'll be visiting with Frank Viola, most valuable player in the World Series, who won games 1 and 7. Of course, the big one last night. And Mark Stevens of KSTP here in Minneapolis will be visiting with Frank Viola. And I would imagine that Frank has thought an awful lot about that game last night. Went 8 innings, turned it over to Jeff Reardon, and the celebration, well, it's still going on here in the Twin Cities. Second down now, 7 yards to go. Movement looked like Brown was offside, or Martin, I should say. A pass up the field, and it's complete. Complete to Jackson. That'll be another first down at the 33-yard line. Guggemos made the stop, 21-yard completion, but another penalty flag clear on the far side of the field.
Well, the defensive unit for the Vikings looked like they jumped offside. John Elway picks it up. He knows he has a free play here. So instead of dumping it off short, he waits, tries to get it to a receiver downfield, and he gets one wide open.
Well, it was Doug Martin. It was quite obvious he had jumped off. You're right, he had a free play. But Elway, there's nobody better in a 2-minute drill than this guy.
He's doing a great job. They haven't been able to get enough pressure on him in this particular drive. Don't be surprised if you see them try and blitz here just to get the added pressure.
Elway now has hit his last 5. And as an end result, first down at the 33 from the shotgun. Millard coming in, and Elway, I don't know if he went down or slipped. Millard was coming up the front. Pressure was coming from Chris Dolman from the backside, and he just went down. Let's look at it again.
We'll take another look. They decide not to blitz, but they just come with their down lineman, their front 4, and look at the move right there by Keith Millard, the little swim move. He comes in, great technique. He makes contact with the right shoulder, and then he just swims around it.
Well, that's a reason he probably went down. He lost his shoe, because that's not characteristic of John. They're going to have to use one of their timeouts, so they'll have only 1 remaining. So Dan Reeves, John Elway, we'll talk about it. He was saying that John sees so well now. He had such great athletic ability, but he had to learn to read the defenses. I thought he had an interesting way of explaining how he's learned to read the defenses.
We'll see there as he steps back. We'll see the shoe come off.
That's what caused it. Anyway, he said, you know, it's interesting about reading defenses. He says it's like you can take a test in Spanish and pass it in a class. That's fine and dandy. When they send you to the country and you have to speak that language, that's another dimension.
Yeah, it's that being in that incubator, that nice environment, that practice environment. And it's what coaches talk about, giving a player a chance to grow and mature, get the experience. Let him see all the situations he can face, then he's confident.
The penalty now makes it second down and 20. Again, 6 defensive backs in. Elway, man open at the 15, incomplete. Good coverage that time on Jackson. That's Guggemos, number 41 over there. That'll stop the clock with 52 seconds, and it's third down and 20.
I'll tell you, it's tough to throw that ball when you've got a full-field pass pattern that requires a big gap to drop it into a seam. He needed a big cushion between the underneath coverage and the deep people to have his receiver come into. The cushion was just too small. So when the ball travels in the air that distance, they have time to react and make the play.
Denver now 1 of 5 on third down conversions. So this is the 3rd and 20. That's Johnson in motion. Elway, a rifle shot to Natil. He looks like he's just short of the first down at the 26. Timeout has been called. And again, Elway threw a bullet, an 18-yard completion, and the Broncos are going to have to use their last timeout.
They use their timeout, 42 seconds on the clock. John getting the ball downfield. Again, wonderful protection on this play. Fires a bullet. I have to believe had he been able to pick up that first down, obviously they keep going. It's 4th down. I thought they take a timeout at this point, discuss whether they go for it with 42 seconds on the clock.
Well, what they're doing now is they have Carlos out there to attempt the field goal. They're a little bit shorter than I thought. They're about 4th and 2. It looked like 4th and 1, but they spotted the ball back outside the 26-yard line, almost the 26.5. So with that time remaining, 4th down and 2 yards, that's pretty good distance to try to capture. So they're going to attempt the field goal. Carlos will come in. He is 5 of 6 this year. Be around 43 yards out. This year, he's kicked one of 42. You might recall last year, he kicked a career long of 51 yards. It will be a 43-yard attempt. Kubiak to hold. This is for the lead. He's got enough on it. And it's right up and through the uprights. That's his longest of the year. 1 yard further than the one he had before the strike. And the Broncos have jumped back on top 17-14.
Pull out in front. Dan Reeves deciding if I've got 3 points and I can close out the first half with just that much margin, play the same kind of second half, come away with a win.
Well, what was impressive about that is the Vikings were thinking touchdown, and they turned the ball over deep, and you think wasn't enough time, but anytime Elway's in there, there's always time to cash in, and they did a very good job moving the football up the field.
That's also very interesting because the defensive coaches for the Vikings felt what they wanted to do was force John Elway to be impatient, to make mistakes, not to take his time, not to take the reins. They figured if they could get him started on a bad ball game, he'd turn the ball over and they could take advantage. But it's a Vikings offense. Had a couple of big plays, long passes, was impatient on their last drive to turn the ball over.
By the way, let's update that game in Cleveland. The Rams have, I should say, the Rams have scored, but the Browns have added another field goal. That touchdown by the Rams, by the way, was by Dickerson from 29 yards.
I bet you that touchdown of 29 yards was more than 80% effort.
Carlos will now kick off for Denver. Guggemos will go back for Minnesota. Minnesota with 1 timeout remaining. 37 seconds left. Minnesota in their last 2 possessions had 1 play for an interception and then 3 plays for an interception. So Wilson throwing the ball to the run collar jersey right now. Going to kind of squib this along the line and picked up short. And they'll bring it out to the 35-yard line. That was Carl Hilton, the backup tight end out of the University of Houston. There's Bob Schnelker, the offensive coordinator for the Vikings, and he'll send Wilson in. I don't think they want to go to Tommy Kramer. Kramer is still about 90% with that shoulder. He's had a pinched nerve in his neck and has hurt his throwing ability. And if Wilson would continue to struggle, they might have a very difficult decision to make as to whether to put this guy in.
That pinched nerve, you can drop back, throw 1 pass, and it's great. Then you drop back next play and throw it, and it just doesn't click. Something misses, and the ball flutters.
Anderson and Nelson, let's see what they can do with the remaining 30 seconds now. Wilson scrambling out. Gulon Jones in his face. Up to Anderson on the screen. The block's ahead of him. A first down. Very well executed play. First down to the 48. Beautifully executed, picking up 12 yards.
Terry Towle, number 66, the right guard. David Huffman, number 72, the left guard. Also Zimmerman getting out in front, doing a very nice job making the blocks, opening up the middle. Sometimes running backs just don't seem to be able to read those blocks. They're not timed just right. They run inside, run outside. That time, it's like parting the Red Sea.
So now from the 48, first down, 24 seconds left. 1 timeout remaining for Jerry Burns and his troops. Carter's in. Hassan Jones is in along with Leo Lewis. Wilson running out, being chased by Simon Fletcher. Got a man. Carter. Carter at the 5. Well, a pass interference. Ty Carton.
Wade Wilson getting excellent protection, moving around. Look at the route. This is just a broken pattern. He takes a chance, runs across. You watch hard in 31. He goes up. The reason why there's pass interference is that Anthony Carter, in going for the football, just slows up a tad. Just enough where Harden, even though he's going for the football, just runs into his back, and that's where the pass interference comes into play, right there.
That ends up being a 47-yard penalty. Sets it up with the 5, and now Denver has been penalized 108 yards on 7 violations. From the 5, 14 seconds now. 1 timeout remaining for the Vikings. Wilson looking to Darren Nelson, now over the middle. It's intercepted. It is picked off by Tom Lilly, the free safety.
I am not sure. It happened so quickly. It looked as if he hit the ball, he didn't catch it, it hits his foot and bounces back up in the air, or maybe his knee. We'll take a look from our sideline camera. We'll watch Wilson. He throws it. It's a little duck.
Well, that was deflected, wasn't it, Len?
I couldn't see what was deflected.
Yeah, we'll look at from the end zone. Maybe we can pick it up from there.
Watch it. See who is it that comes in. Right there.
Yep. That was
deflected.
Walt Boyer, number 65.
Walt Boyer, number 65, tips it, or pops off his helmet, and the ball was just low, and Lilly just scoops it up into the air.
That's the 3rd turnover in this first half by the Vikings. So the penalties against Denver, the turnovers against the Vikings, and at the halfway point, Denver has a 3-point lead, 17-14. We'll return to the Metrodome after this message. Gerald WILLHITE as soon as possible. We were checking that at halftime. No definitive statement on him yet, as Guggemos now will bring it out for the Vikings. And he is close to the 25-yard line. Well, the Vikings have had a tough time. The last 3 times they've thrown interceptions.
Big turnovers. They've been in scoring position. They've had opportunities to take advantage of field position, but it's been turnover after turnover.
Boy, that last one really hurt, too. They had it right down on the doorstep and then threw the interception that Lilly brought out of the end zone.
So while they're turning the ball over,
Denver's having trouble with penalties. They've committed 7 for 108 yards. Is that my cue?
That was it.
Leo Lewis in motion. Here comes Darren Nelson. And here he goes. Look out. 50, 40. He's to the 30, 20, 15, 10. He's at the 4. 71 yards.
An outstanding run. Alfred Anderson gets great blocking up front. Look at the holes just opened up for him. As the pursuit goes to the outside, Tony Lilly, number 22, getting caught there. That was Darren Nelson, just takes off. They get some help downfield, but number 50, Jim Ryan, the outside backer, comes up. Now watch here. This is Mike Harton, 31, who's coming down, force him just to slow up just a bit. And when he slows up, makes that move, number 50, Jim Ryan, the linebacker, comes up for the stop.
That was good effort by Harton. He fought off the block, got the touchdown, but here it comes anyway. Dozier.
Effort of Harden and Ryan only delays the scoring of the touchdown by the Vikings. DJ Dozier.
Watch this block by Rick Finney, number 31.
It's a great job. Ricky's come up. He's playing it off. Just gets nailed right there.
Rookie out of Washington. You can see why they like to use him in those short goal line situations. Point after attempt now. Chuck Nelson. For the first time in the game now, the Vikings have the lead. 20-17. Greg Coleman to hold. And that one's veering right. He missed it. Boy, that is very unusual. Last year, he was 44 of 47. He was perfect coming into this game. And obviously, that leaves the door open for a field goal to tie it.
Well, instead of having a touchdown, you've got basically 2 field goals. That 1 point means, as you said, a field goal ties it up. Now Denver knows that if it comes down to it, they can force it into overtime with just the field goal.
Well, they're not automatic all the time, are they?
No, they aren't.
20-17, the Vikings with their first lead. You saw that last scoring touchdown by the Cleveland Browns. Here's Ken Bell bringing it out now for the Broncos, who trail for the first time. Let's go back now and see why, if possible, Chuck Nelson missed this point after.
Well, he missed it because he was just off a bit. The hold and everything was great. Right here, nice close-up shot. You see how important the hold is. He gets the ball down, spins the laces around just in time, and the ball frozen just as he follows through. He missed it.
That was Greg Coleman, of course, who has been holding all this time for many, many years for some outstanding kickers. And Nelson, whatever happened, he'd like to get it back. I'm sure of that.
Greg Coleman is the cousin of St. Louis Cardinals' Vince Coleman.
Boy, Greg Coleman is a character. During practice of the week, he's the referee for the team. Steve Sewell now in the backfield. And this is Sewell bringing it out across the 40, and he rips off 9 yards to the 45-yard line before Joey Browner made the stop. Well, Denver started out this game, and they took 7 minutes and 53 seconds to score. Then they punted, came back again with another impressive drive. Now, look what's happened since that time. Punt. They did end up with a field goal, and there's the guy who just went 72 yards officially now, the longest non-scoring run in Viking history. Clarence Kay, Bobby Mitchell, the tight ends. Mitchell in motion. Elway back, second down, a yard to go, and that went right through the arms and into the arms of John Harris. Went through the arms of Jackson to Harris, and that is the 45th interception for this veteran of 10 years out of Arizona State. Solomon was over there defending on the play on Jackson, but that ball was thrown so hard, and it was hard for Jackson to come up with it.
This is the ultimate in tip plays, in the tip drill. The ball just goes through and hits Carl Lee so hard in the helmet, it goes up a good 15 feet in the air.
That's using your head, right?
Yeah, well, that's using it productively, too. Watch here. Whiplash.
They had that one planned all the way. Well, the interception, that turnover, the first interception by Elway. Back to throw is Wilson, and he's got Anthony Carter at the 40, and Carter's been open all night long. What a game he is having. That's an 18-yard completion to the 40. Tom Lilly made the tackle.
Anthony Carter, 2 wide receivers, just using his speed, reading, zone coverage, breaking away. Does such a fine job. When you've got his kind of speed, it's so easy to go across the zone and just get into those open zones very, very quickly. The safeties have to come up and react when they've got someone forcing them deep.
He has 3 catches for 53 yards, but 2 of his plays have produced penalties, interference penalties. Oh, there's another interception. This is Haynes. Mark Haynes picks it up, and he has his second interception of the game. Well, we're kind of playing giveaway right now.
Quid pro quo. This for that. So for 1 interception, they get 1 back. The ball thrown low and behind the receiver. Bad mistake. Mark Haynes right there.
Boy, Wilson now has suffered 4 interceptions this game, and what you would call plus territory twice. I mean, deep inside where they were moving, looked like they'd get something out of a drive. So Elway just threw one a moment ago, gives off to Lang, and Lang runs into difficulty. That's kind of an understatement. That reaction by Dolman, I should say, and there is where we were at the halfway point. Still Denver with the time of possession certainly in their favor. Leading in every category, tied in first downs.
Passing yards for the Broncos.
One area they didn't lead in was interceptions, however, I might add.
That's true.
6 defensive backs on a 2nd and 14, a loss of 4 on that last play. Natil goes in motion. Elway, Vance Johnson. Johnson will get back to about the original line of scrimmage. They'll be almost 10 yards short of the first down. Carl Lee reacting well. Lee is playing, by the way, with a cast. He dislocated his wrist in the first day of camp, and pretty tough to be playing that defensive back spot. But he is, after missing all the preseason, been able to open up. And you can see the cast. I don't know how in the world you can make tackles and play a defensive back spot with that kind of a cast.
Well, it doesn't help you in catching the ball if you're going for an interception, but the hands are free, so he can grab on.
Third down now, 9. Elway over the middle. Goes to his back, coming out of the backfield. That's Ken Bell. And Bell tried to get the first down, but he's short. Stafford Mays, who is the only replacement player the Vikings kept, the former St. Louis Cardinal, made that stop. Look outside, where I guarantee you, folks, it's a lot colder than it is in here. Kickoff time was what, 45 degrees?
44, 45 degrees. In here it's 68. A little bit overcast.
Got to get new glasses. Here we go now. 4th and 1. We're going to go for it. All kinds of movement. And we're going to have a delay of game. They didn't get it off.
Well, what Elway was trying to do there is he wasn't going to call a play. All he was going to do is send a man in motion, try and draw the defense offside. If he draws him offside, they pick up the first down without having to execute the play. Doesn't turn the ball over.
I don't think I've seen a man go in motion twice.
Goes in motion, he
once,
stops.
came back and came back again.
Well, as long as he sets for a second, he can move again.
Well, now they're going to have to get rid of the ball. That's the 8th penalty, by the way, for 113 yards. Leo Lewis, the short man, is Gugamos, number 41. Moran will punt it. to 17, the Vikings. Moran trying to hit it to the far corner. He may have gotten too much on it and did. So the touchback will bring it out the 20-yard line. That'll be registered as a 41-yard punt. The Vikings with the lead. They have the football. They come back. They'll be at the 20-yard line. Minnesota and Wade Wilson looking for some success. Lynn, in the last 5 possessions, he's thrown interceptions in 4 of them.
Well, you can look at it another way. He completed 7 passes. 3 to his receivers and 4 to Denver.
From the 20-yard line now. Alfred Anderson in the backfield. Jordan and Hilton, the double tight end alignment. 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Wilson flushed out of the pocket. He's going to run. He's going to get a first down and more. Across the 30 to the 33. And again, Wilson showing some pretty good elusiveness. That's a 13-yard pickup on the play.
The defense gave them all kinds of room, dropping back in their pass coverage.
He's carried the ball 3 times for 25 yards. Got that touchdown, you might recall, in the sneak. He's out of East Texas State. Played in the Lone Star Conference. Not a lot of guys out of East Texas State in the NFL, and especially playing quarterback. But he had 2 brilliant performances at the end of last year. 2 excellent games before the strike. Started out well today, and now has thrown 4 interceptions. First down. This time, Nelson is hemmed in after that 72-yard run. They made sure where number 20 was, and Carl Mecklenburg in particular.
Starting out in this ball game, the Vikings wanted to go deep down the center, wanted to run the ball to the outside, test the timing and the reaction time of the Denver defense by running a lot of screens and a lot of draws. They've run some screens, not that many draws, and had no success whatsoever going down the center of the field, except for the pass interference calls.
DJ Dozier's in the backfield along with Anderson. Also in the game is Hassan Jones, number 84. This is Leo Lewis in motion on a 2nd down 10. Wilson waiting for the break to be made. Anderson, I don't think, located the ball. Anderson over there, the intended receiver, is thrown a little behind him as well. Pretty good coverage on that play.
Rick Dennison was over there on the coverage. He had his back to him. He's looking for the ball, and he just doesn't want to bump into him. The ball actually hits Dennison before Anderson has a chance to make a play. And Dennison's going, I didn't touch him. It's not my fault.
After 2 interferences on Harden, you got to be concerned. There's a guy that listed number 2, Tommy Kramer, the Pro Bowl quarterback, who's had all kinds of difficulties, both personal as well as injury-wise, has not thrown a pass. You wonder if they would call on him if Wilson continues to struggle.
He has his war paint on.
Yep. Minnesota now with a 3rd down 10. This is only the 4th 3rd down play. from the shotgun this time. Wade Wilson, 6 defensive backs in for the Broncos. Breaking down, Rulon Jones coming out of the pack, giving chase. Anderson checked that Dozier. DJ Dozier had it, scrambles forward far enough to pick up the first down, or did he?
Oh, Randy Robinson hit him. It's an incomplete pass.
It is. It did not get completed. Randy Robbins is over there. Let's look at it again.
Well, he's going to come in there. He tries to make the catch. Again, there's a good deal of pressure. Rulon Jones, number 75, giving chase. But you see the ball thrown there. DJ Dozier doesn't have control over it as Randy Robinson comes in and sticks him, make sure the ball drops out.
Boy, he almost had that, didn't he?
Yes, indeed.
This is the second punt for Greg Coleman of this game. Hits it well. Natil is back at the 29. He fumbles it. Got it back, and he's buried. So at the 31, after a 39-yard punt, the Broncos trailing by 3 with 7:52 to go in the third quarter. Acrobatics here, not only on the football field, but on the sideline, as we have 7:52 to go in this third quarter. I'm Gary Bender along with Lynn Swan, as the Broncos trailing for the first time after leading at halftime 17-14, now down 20-17.
Total yards. Second half, they just moved right up the ladder, passed him up.
Well, that 72-yard run by Nelson made a lot of difference to most staff. Boy, Elway got busted that time. That was Jesse Solomon. It was in his face, and he just went somersaulting backwards after he landed on top of it. Just no chance to make that play work.
Jesse Solomon, the outside backer, just came crashing in. You see, we're seeing him right there coming in. They had a blitz going there. He comes in from his outside position. John Elway is lucky just to have gotten that ball away.
Solomon's an amazing story. He's a 12th round draft pick, 51st linebacker selected in the draft, and he did not even start at Florida State. He was a backup linebacker. And he's too good to keep on the bench, and he's become a starter for this Viking team. Second down, 10, in motion to Teal. Elway over the middle, threw it too low for the big tight end Mobley, and we have another penalty. We may have a roughing the passer.
Joey Browner.
That's what it is.
Number 47. We told you at the beginning of the ball game, the Vikings wanted to blitz, let John Elway know that they would come in, apply the pressure. The last 2 plays, they have blitz. They line up in that 46 defense.
Passer, 47 defense.
Joey Browner, number 47, comes in. There's the ball. He's allowed 1 step. Boy, that's it.
He kind of held up. You got to give him credit
for that. He looked like he did hold up just a bit there. Came around from behind.
Browner is an outstanding football player. 30-14 now. We understand Charles White has scored for the Rams, so they might get back into that game yet.
They got a long way to go.
Lang and Sewell, they're the backs behind Elway after the roughing the passer penalty. First down. Elway rolling around. Here comes that speed. Millard misses him. Elway, a little pass forward to Jackson, and Jackson turns around, and he's very close to the first down. They have a man shaken up. That's Doug Martin. He was back there with Millard giving chase. Millard went diving through at the shoe tops of Elway. Couldn't knock him down.
Number 54, Keith Bishop, the left side guard. When Elway begins to scramble, comes back. He's a man who picks up the block. You watch number 79, Martin coming right by there. Oh. There it is, right there. He just upends him, protecting his quarterback so he can get the ball away. Mark Jackson making the catch just short of the first down.
So Martin, who's kind of emerged as the leader of this football team, a former #1 draft pick in '80 from the University of Washington. They're looking him over. That was just an excellent block by Bishop, but of course Martin's just really susceptible to that because of the blind side. He just had no chance to see it coming. We have an outstanding menu for you on Saturday. UCLA, Arizona State. UCLA, very impressive thus far. Unbeaten, the only unbeaten team in Pac-10 play will go against Arizona State, who's lost 1. That was to Washington. And then in the Big Ten, some of you will see Michigan State, Ohio State. as they're now chasing, of all teams in that Big Ten, Indiana.
Indiana having a great season. You saw Doug Martin walking off on his own power.
Boy, it's good to see. You can really get hurt in that situation. You're just going pell-mell after somebody, and you don't look for somebody coming back like that, and he got dumped. So Stafford Mays has come in to replace him at defensive end. Second down, a yard to go. Mitchell in motion. Lang, and you can hear the popping clear up here as, check that, Winder. That was Sammy Winder. And Winder picks up the first down to the 41-yard line. Pretty good pop that time as he headed up the middle. And it looks like we have another Viking shaken up on the play. This is Joey Browner. And Browner looks like he's got cramps. When you start pulling your toe up like that, that's evidence of cramping problems.
The layoff.
Yeah, that's part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, the guys coming back, not accustomed to the speed at which they play in a football game. Working out on their own is not quite the same as working out under the guidance of your coaches, going through the drills.
But he's got to come out for one play. He'll come out. He'll be back in as soon as possible. Browner made that mistake a while ago, but it was an honest mistake. It's one of those aggressive mistakes, and this guy plays as well as anybody in the NFL. The strong safety in the Pro Bowl the last 2 years. Fifth-year man out of USC.
From the famous Browner family.
Yep.
Ross Browner.
And Keith
Browner. Notre Damers.
First down 10 after that run by Winder a moment ago. Winder and Lang in the backfield behind Elway. 6:57 to go in the third quarter. Elway back to throw, steps up, and he's down. Pressure coming from Solomon again. Second sack of the game for the Vikings. And now we have another player shaken up for Minnesota. Looks like Millard is down. Is that right? As Keith Millard, earlier it was Doug Martin, Browner coming off. But that was very good pressure by both Millard and Solomon that produced the sack and stopped at the 45. Well, we've been told now that Gerald WILLHITE suffered a fractured right leg, and I don't think anybody is surprised by that diagnosis.
Not at all. Right now, Keith Millard seems to be in a good deal of pain.
Going back to Millard, if you joined us late, it was a play that began the second quarter. He broke open in the middle of the field, went 29 yards, looked to be entering the end zone for a touchdown. Joey Browner caught him around the shoulder pad, dragged him backwards, and the fractured foot or leg. So Millard will come off the field. It's going to be a pretty physical game, isn't it?
Yeah, he's shaking his head. I don't know if he's all here yet.
This guy's always thrashing around out there. You talk about a guy that's, well, somebody said the sacks consume him. I mean, he gets out. He's from Washington State, a third-year man. The best way to describe him, Floyd Peters says, he's a brawling street fighter that's always primed.
Played for Jacksonville in the USFL and played that exact same way.
Second down now after the loss. Second down and about 14 yards to go. Flag on the play. Elway scrambling, and Martin's got him. Doug Martin checks back in, and he drops him.
The penalty is going to be against the Denver Broncos. Number 82, Vance Johnson, turned upfield while he was in motion before the ball was snapped, and obviously the Vikings will turn it down in favor of the sack.
That's an 8-yard loss.
Motion, 82 offense. The penalty is declined. It's third down.
Boy, they are teeing off on Elway right now. It's almost like they've decided now's our time to get to it.
Well, they got away from the blitzing that they intended to do. They didn't do as much of it late in the first half or in the second quarter. Elway and the Denver offense got away from what they were doing. They were going short. Now it's a whole different ball game.
6 defensive backs on a 3rd and 21. Third quarter. Nothing open. Up the field. That is Brown. Isn't it remarkable? Martin comes off the field. The sack. Browner comes off the field. He comes back and deflects the pass.
And he's limping just a bit. Maybe the cramps are coming back. Elway gets good protection here. Almost tripped. But when he looks downfield, number 89, Orson Mobley, is waving, saying, throw me the ball, I'm open. But Elway on the run gets arm into it, but can't get his body into it, and just throws a short one. Joey Browner gets way up in the air.
That was an athletic move by Browner. He could have slam dunked that one, couldn't he?
I think he did.
He's in pain again, but boy, these guys are coming back and off on the field, doing a good job. Here's a punt by Horan, a little bit of pressure. Leo Lewis comes up, makes the fair catch at the 25-yard line.
He did a great job to get that snap as it came in extremely high.
That was only a 28-yard punt. And from the 25, the Vikings, well, they've got some problems on the sideline.
Yeah, what that Viking needs right now is a big axe, a hammer, or something.
Well, his team on top right now, 20-17. You see the time remaining. In this half thus far, Denver has only 18 yards in total offense. Minnesota 106. You take away that 72-yard run by Nelson, and they haven't had much. And Wilson's had too many interceptions. Here's Anderson, a yard, and that's all. Jammed up by the middle.
Well, you folks in Denver and Minnesota watching this football game, you don't need me to tell you that this is a sloppy kind of football game. You're used to seeing these ball clubs play much better. But they're just feeling their way, getting back.
Well, explain what you thought the emotion might be at the start of this.
Well, I thought both teams came in saying, well, you know, are we supposed to be happy we're back? We didn't get what we want. We went through a lot. You know, we came in early. They still wouldn't let us play, and we had to wait. So I think they were very cautious.
Second down and 9, and breaking out of there is Anderson, and he picks up the first down. Mike Hart made the stop. Quick hitter up the middle. Alfred Anderson for 16 yards.
And maybe the key block to slow him down comes by the official right here. The official can't get out of the way. Hello, goodbye. Anderson veers off to the side and veers right into a tackler.
So Harden on another stop. Harden's been all over the place. He has been called for 2 pass interferences, but he is an aggressive, hard-hitting cornerback. See why they're so high on him. Darren Nelson, Anderson to the backfield. First down. Line of scrimmage, the 43. Wilson, the throw. And he's on target. That's Leo Lewis. That's a first down catch at the 42. Jim Ryan made the stop. 14-yard completion to the 7th-year veteran from Missouri.
See him coming in here. He had 3 catches for 72 yards and 1 touchdown before the strike took place. Makes a good grab in tough territory.
His father was quite a football player in the Canadian Football League. He played with Bud Grant. In fact, his dad's in the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame. So it's a first down at the 43-yard line. Anderson going wide, a big collision at the 40-yard line, and that's Harden over there again, along with Jim Ryan. Okay, let's look ahead now to what will be coming up on Sunday. The New York City Marathon, 10:30 Eastern, Pacific 9:30, and then the Nissan Indy Challenge, beginning at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central. The New York City Marathon is something to see. It brings together people from all over the world running the streets of New York. Second down now, 7 yards to go from the 40-yard line. Up the middle comes DJ Dozier, and Dozier spins, lunges his way close to the 36. Simon Fletcher made the stop on Dozier.
You talk about the marathon and people from all over the country and the world coming in. I covered the marathon last year, and in the warm-up area, I ran into an attorney I knew in Los Angeles. I ran into a guy who was a backup wide receiver at flanker on my team at USC, Chris Cheney. A couple of other people from Pittsburgh. It was like homecoming week.
How come you didn't run in it? Third down now, 4 yards.
Man.
Third down, 4 from the shotgun. Wade Wilson. 2:19 left to go in the third quarter. Flag is thrown in the secondary. Wilson sprinting out. Hassan Jones intercepted. Picked up by Jeremiah Castillo, who they picked up from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we had a penalty flag a long time before that ball was thrown.
That flag is thrown about 5 yards down the field against the defense. Holding probably on the corner or a bump downfield.
Pretty good defensive effort that time by Castillo. Castillo was a third-round draft pick of Tampa Bay. Bear Bryant said he was one of his favorite players of all time.
28 defense, first down.
Well, the man who makes a great play is the man they called for holding.
I don't think Bear Bryant taught him to do that.
What he did do was he took a great angle, cutting off the ball, making that catch.
Out of Alabama, Castillo, fifth-year man. So forget the interception, and you place the ball at the 33 of Denver. Vikings with a 3-point lead, and they're trying to build it. Allen Rice now in the backfield along with Nelson. That's Rice, number 36 in motion. Here comes Darren Nelson. And here comes Darren Nelson the other way. And Darren Nelson ran a lot of yardage back and forth and didn't pick up anything.
Wade Wilson almost got trampled in the process. Darren's trying hard to get the big yards. He's running around that backfield. That's the second time he's done that. And both times, Wade Wilson has tried to throw a block for him. And he looked like a mouse getting stampeded out in an open field someplace.
He said, I called that play to go to the other side of the field. What are you doing over here?
Get away, go back.
Second down, 10. He was not exactly a north-south runner on that play. Hassan Jones put to the near side. 3 wideouts on the play. Wilson on the second down, 10. Far sideline. Coming back is Lewis. Lewis rolls up with the catch, and he has a first down. Steve Wilson defending on the play. 12-yard pickup.
Vikings are doing a great job. Look at the secondary. They've got 2 people back going deep, disguised in the coverage. It's man-to-man. Look at the coverage there. Everybody has somebody on them. But right, just a simple route, breaking to the sideline, coming back for the ball.
Right now, Wilson is 9 of 18, 150 yards. Of course, the stat, he just soon forgets the 4 interceptions. Now he's in excellent position. First down at the 21. Rice still in the backfield along with Nelson. Nelson trying to swing to the far side. He's got a block. Puts it inside the 10 to the 5. And he's going to go out of bounds at about the 4. Tom Lilly over there. Some pretty good blocking on that play. 16 yards. Pick up. Terry Tausch, number 66, was one of those with the block.
Yeah, the substitution of defensive personnel, number 75, Rulon Jones, one of the great pass rushers, is out of the ball game. It went to the right side. Excellent blocking. Darren Nelson just runs through Mecklenburg. Good run.
They're going to mark it at the 5. Nelson, 7 carries now, 88 yards. The long one, of course, the 72-yarder that began the second half. First and goal at the 5. Dozier and Finney in the backfield. This is Dozier, and he's in. Touchdown.
Take a look at it from the side. Dozier pounding his way on the inside, picking up the tough yards. The Minnesota Vikings football team has come on here in the third period, just playing much tougher and aggressive football, pounding through the inside.
That is the 3rd touchdown tonight for DJ Dozier. Remember, he had 2 in the first game. He has really been one of those guys, when you get close to the goal line, he'll take it in for you. Nelson, point after. Remember, he's missed one tonight. This one right down the middle. So it's a 10-point lead now, 27-17. So the Vikings, who trailed all the way in the first half, they've done all the scoring in the second half of play, as the Broncos had 17 at the halfway point. One game. This year, They really have a very, very difficult road to hoe because next week they're in Seattle. Then they get the Raiders at home. And you know how big a lead the Chicago Bears have. They're already 5-1. So Jerry Burns said, quite honestly, he thought they'd have to win at least 8 more games to get into the wild card situation. So that's a big chunk to have to chew. Nelson will kick off to the Broncos as right now Dan Reeves' offense has been shut down. That's the time remaining in the third quarter. Ken Bell and Gene Lang back. Andy Sedaris with our close-up of the kickoff, and here comes Ken Bell. A flag on the play. Another flag on the play as he brings it out to the 25-yard line.
And a third flag on the play on the far side.
Jesse Solomon making the stop for the Vikings, so it may take a while to sort this one out. Looking to the Denver Broncos, on the other hand, Lynn, they really have a good opportunity to catch San Diego. They're going to play them twice. San Diego, of course, prior to tonight, with a game-and-a-half lead. It could be cut to a half game if somehow the Denver Broncos pulled it out. But what they have facing them now...
Use of hands, 58 on the receiving team. First down.
What they have facing them is Detroit at home next week. They're at Buffalo, and then they play the Chicago Bears.
And Detroit is playing real basic football. That's not going to be the toughest game they have of the year. But the Bills with Jim Kelly could be very dangerous. Jim Kelly can lead that football team and keep them in the ball game. And the Bears defense will beat you up. And their division is extremely tough. And with San Diego playing so well, their defensive unit playing extremely well, Al Sanders has them running the football stronger. It's going to be a tight division when you include Seattle and all of that.
Lansford has kicked the field goal for the Rams. They climb a little bit closer in that game with the Browns. Hand off to Winder. Winder brings it out to the 13, 14-yard line, and Henry Thomas made the stop. By the way, that penalty a moment ago against Denver now is 10 penalties, 128 yards. We may be approaching some kind of a record for the Denver Broncos. Gain on that play of 2. It'll be second down and 8. Their record is 160 yards. I'll tell you, our statistician Roger Riley had that in a hurry, didn't he?
I think he saw it coming early in the first half.
Well, we're about to end this third quarter. 10 seconds left in it. Lang and Winder in the backfield. And batted down, 51. That is David Howard, the third-year man from Long Beach State. And we have come to the close of the third quarter. We'll return to the Metrodome after this word about an upcoming show on ABC. This has become one of the most recognizable facilities in the United States of America due to the World Series. And now tonight, the site of the National Football League game between the Broncos and Vikings. And we're just talking, the crowd really hasn't been all that vocal. I wonder if they're the same season ticket holders for the Twins and they've just used all that energy up.
They probably are. They're just recuperating from last night. Here's a wave they try to have going up in the stands. Looks more like a trickle.
We start the fourth quarter. It's third down and 8 now for the Broncos, who trail by 10. Elway had a man on him when he threw the ball. The ball short of the mark intended for Vance Johnson, but Elway had Chris Dolman, the man from Pittsburgh, coming from the backside.
Chris Dolman made the switch from linebacker, the down lineman. But he still has a good speed as he comes around from the backside. Just causes him to flutter that pass.
Boy, he went down hard, didn't he?
Sure did.
Dolman is the guy who was a linebacker last year. They moved him to defensive end. They felt like he was trying to think too much, so they got him in a down position, and he just comes after people down. Mike Horan will punt this one.
He had a high snap the last time.
Big rush. Got it underway. Lewis coming up. No fair catch. Going to the far side, got a block from Finney, and he's going to convert it to a gain to the 31-yard line, and we have a Bronco shaken up.
It's Mike Horan, I believe, the punter.
33-yard punt, a 15-yard return. You're exactly right, Lynn. It's number 2, Mike Horan, who is down. The tackle, by the way, was made by Randy Robbins, but more importantly, the status of their punter. Mike Horan.
Whenever there's a return on, and the returning team is moving their way down the field, the punters trying to move over, make a play. Sometimes they get caught by it.
Well, the big stat, of course, still is the turnovers, Lynn. 4 against Wade Wilson and the Vikings. However, they have moved ahead in total offense now.
Yeah, we talk about the turnovers, and the turnovers are bad. There's no way of getting around it. When we talk about the penalties against the Broncos, some of those penalties are equal to turnovers.
Now, that is the third quarter only. Look at that, 27 yards.
They just have not controlled the ball on offense. They've gotten away from the short control game. Give credit to the Minnesota Vikings. They've been blitzing, applying a lot of pressure, and have completely stopped whatever running game the Denver Broncos thought they might have had.
You can probably see in the background, Horan got up and walked off on his own, so that's good. Good field position now for the Vikings. They have a 10-point lead, and they could really put this game where they want it. Leo Lewis in motion. Best starting position they have had all game long, but it's going to be hindered a little bit because of a fine defensive effort that time by Lilly. The safety, Lilly, outstanding performer at Florida. He was a 3-time All-Southeast Conference player. He came back. They're going to lose on that play at least 3 yards. It'll bring up second down and 13 yards to go.
He replaces Foley on this defensive unit. Great safety for this ball club, consistent.
Steve Foley actually split some starting time with him last year. Foley retired, and it's all Lilly's job now. Second down, 13. 14 minutes to go in the game. Darren Nelson to the 30, inside the 30. And Ricky Hundley over there to make the stop. Well, they've got a long ways to go yet. It's going to be third down, still 7. Darren Nelson. You know, Nelson was the first player in NCAA history to come up with 1,000 yards rushing and catching 50 passes. But you know what? Brad Muster last year for Stanford accomplished that same feat.
Yeah, Brad Muster finally got back into the playing role for Stanford.
They've won 3 in a row now.
Big game over Oregon. They beat Oregon 13-10. My man Brian Johnson leading it.
I knew you'd get that name in. Third down now, 8 for Wilson. Doubles it off to Rice. Allen Rice to the 15, 10, and he's out of bounds at the 5. Dennis Smith knocked him out, and Allen Rice, who had 2 catches prior to tonight, goes 24 yards with that one.
For the Minnesota Vikings, somewhere in that locker room at halftime, Jerry Burns must have said something. They made some adjustments. They came out with a different attitude to play football. And right here, Allen Rice, number 36, makes a good run down the sideline. We see Dennis Smith. Looks like he knocks him out of bounds. It's more like Allen knocked Dennis down than stepped out of bounds.
The Vikings have an interesting combination at fullback. Anderson and Rice were college teammates at Baylor. Dozier's in along with Finney. First and goal at the 5. Dozier hurdling the line, and then he's pushed backwards. There is 56, Michael Brooks, who they think has greatness ahead of him. Brooks out of LSU, their 3rd-round draft pick. He is a guy that tore up his knee severely in college. They took a chance on him that he could rehabilitate it. They think he has blitzing linebacking ability like Lawrence Taylor. That's saying a lot, but they're that high on him.
That's saying quite a bit. They have not let him go in terms of blitzes coming into this ball game. When I take the first 2 games these teams played before they went on strike, and the Denver Broncos had only blitzed 8 times.
No gain on that last play. Second and goal from the 5. Rice and Nelson now in the backfield. Lewis comes in motion. Wilson to throw, scrambling. In the end zone, great catch by Lewis.
Be a matter of personal pride after having watched the replacement team lose 3. The Vikings coming back. Lewis laying out his body for this catch. That's an excellent catch anytime, any place, anywhere.
If that had been number 88, I would have thought that was Lynn Swann.
Well, I've been there a few times. I'm kind of envious of that one right there.
Boy, that was pretty, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
5 yards. Point after attempt by Nelson, and all of a sudden, this Viking team has really taken control. We're going to look at this again. It's that nice as we take you away to this commercial. Wilson scrambling, getting additional time, and watch. He's only 5'8", 170. Beautiful diving grab. As an end result, it's a 34-17 game in favor of the Minnesota Vikings. Nelson to kick off. Teal is back, joined there by Vance Johnson. The Broncos need something to happen in a hurry. It'll be Vance Johnson bringing it out. And they're getting a good return out of this one out to the 36. Hey, we want to just take this moment to say thanks to a guy, and this is hard to believe, but Bob Bernthal has been a technical director with ABC for 37 and a half years. 37 and a half years. He's been with the company older than you are, but we understand this is his last show with us. And Bob, we just thank you, and I know there's many, many people who worked with you a lot longer than I have that appreciate you even more. And congratulations on a great career.
37 and a half years. He deserves to retire and relax a little bit. Seen a lot of changes since 1950.
Oh, yeah, black and white television. First down now. Elway can't hit Clarence Kay. David Howard defending on the play. Well, Dan Reeves, you better find something that's going to work on that card, because right now they just aren't going. They had, what, 27 yards in the third quarter. Here we are now with 12 minutes to go in the fourth, and they still haven't gotten it going. Elway is 1 of 6 on his passing.
He's got to look down on that card and find M for miracle, like a miracle comeback.
Last 6 passes, he's hit on 1. And from the 35-yard line, he has Lang and Winder behind him on the second down 10. Elway, pressure coming, throws it on target to Kay. Kay is going to be short of the first down, I think. Now, wait a minute. He may have fallen forward. He came back to the ball, was hit. Let's see where they're going to mark it. He needs to get right on top of that yard line, and he didn't, so they are short.
He had to come back to the ball. If Elway hadn't thrown the ball when he did, if he had waited another half second, they might have called that a sack, because he had a man all over him. Stanford Mays, number 73. And Clarence Kay does a great job. He hooks back. Right there is where he needs to go for the first down. But he's got to bend down, come back, and he's coming up. He moves away from the first down.
In motion is Sewell. Third down, a yard, and they're going to get the first down. Elway diving forward, picks it up to the 48-yard line.
It is almost a mistake psychologically and emotionally when a team comes out in the first drive, first quarter, to hold that football 7 minutes, 39 seconds, make a great drive, and say, hey, this is easy. Touchdown, 7 points, we have control over it. They haven't had that kind of control since.
It's been all Minnesota in the second half. Elway with a first down and broken up beautifully by Carl Lee. This is a very active defense. Dan Reeves talked about the speed. Here is good positioning by number 39.
He does a great job here, just timing it. Rick can tell, good speed, stays with him, comes back inside the ball just a bit late. He knocks it down, and when he gets up, gave it a little English like a bowler. You see it again, Elway zips it in there. This ball's coming pretty quick. He's able just to get a hand on the football.
Pretty good piece of defensive work by Lee. He is a fifth-year man out of Marshall University. Second down 10, 6 defensive backs in. Protection is there. Elway's cranking it up, but it's underthrown. And Gugamos had a piece of it. Also a piece of it went to Jackson, and it ends up incomplete.
Mark Jackson made as great a defensive play as I've ever seen. This ball just comes way up in the air. Number 48, Reggie Rutland covering on the play. Now this ball just flutters up in the air. I think it slipped. You see right there, Jackson just pushes off, comes inside. He goes up, almost makes a great catch there.
Gugamos is out of St. Thomas College, which is in St. Paul, and he has a college teammate on this team by the name of Jim Gustafson. St. Thomas, not a very large school, but two guys contributing to the Vikings. 3rd down 10. And that ball headed in the vicinity of Jackson, I guess, but the timing really off on it. Also over there was Rick Massey, but just nothing developed at all.
It looked like there was some confusion on the play. The ball was thrown long. You should see Joey Brother.
Those cramps again.
Those cramps coming back. Let's hear it for the defense. Let's hear it for the defensive line. They've been applying pressure to John Elway all night long, and they're the reason why Elway has not been able to complete those passes.
Well, they've sacked him 3 times coming into this game. They allowed only 7 all year long. Of course, some of those stats are misleading because you're talking about replacement stats as well as the regular team. Leo Lewis is back. Moran, who's back in after being hurt. Boy, he kicks this one high. And the fair catch is made. I wonder if it's as hard to locate a football on this Teflon roof as it is a baseball. Anyway, the punt sets it up for the Vikings. They have a lead now of 34-17.
As the Vikings have just dominated in the second half. Let me ask you again, do you think the football up on that Teflon roof is as hard to locate as a baseball?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you.
Football.
I don't want to hear anymore.
Okay. Well, it's a lot easier to see. It's bigger and it's brown.
Just checking. So Denver outscored 21-0 in the second half. Nelson, Rice in the backfield. Wade Wilson, one of his receivers falls down, so he's going to have to run out of there, and he takes a pretty good pop as he goes out of bounds at the 15. Let's pause now. 5 seconds for our stations to identify themselves.
KUSA TV, a station of the Gannett Broadcasting Group.
With 10:09 to go, the Minnesota Vikings, who had won their first 2 games before the strike, only to see their replacement team lose all 3, have come roaring right back to play just about as effectively as they did the first 2. And right now, with a commanding 34-17 lead, after trailing early in the game, and at halftime, 17-14. Wade Wilson's thrown 4 interceptions, but he's been able to come through that and lead his team to this advantage. There's a little flare pass out to Rice. Rice comes out to the 23-24-yard line. He'll be 5 yards short of the first down. Rick Dennison, 55, making the stop for the Denver Broncos.
Alan Rice must have come back into the huddle and said, hey, you know, I was open on that last play. He was running down the sideline. We'll take a look at Rick Dennison, 55. He's got the responsibility of picking him up. But Rice makes a great grab to the outside. Just a matter of taking away the angle.
Line of scrimmage, the 23. 3rd down, let's make it 4. Dozier and Rice in the backfield. Even though they have this lead, Minnesota, deep in their own territory, came out throwing. They have not been cautious. This is Rice again. Rice got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about all.
Well, they threw on 1st and 2nd down, then they decided to run on 3rd down. I think they just want to keep control of this ball game at this point. Let the clock run down. They've got a 17-point lead.
Rulon Jones made that last stop. Natil will go back for the punt. What an exciting newcomer this guy is. Out of Florida, there's been so many fine wide receivers from the University of Florida. And he'll receive the punt from Greg Coleman. And Coleman hits it pretty well. Natil calls for the fair catch. I don't think he should have. He had a lot of return yardage ahead of him, and that was a bad decision. So they're going to have to take it at the 37, a 41-yard punt. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is strictly prohibited. There's a very interesting statistic.
John Elway stats.
Yep.
14 for 19, 153 and 1 touchdown. Second half, nothing. 31 yards and 1 interception.
I bet it's been a long time he's had a second half like that. I don't know how much you can attribute that to the layoff. On a first down, he's going to be buried. That'll be the 4th sack of the game. that is Thomas and Dolman. We keep mentioning Thomas. Dolman wants to take the ball with him, but Thomas has a very interesting nickname. Henry Thomas. They call him Hardware Hank because he's such a blue-collar type guy. He just goes in there and just kind of keeps banging away at you.
Kind of a delayed game there. They all came crashing in towards the center. Then the tackles just came to the outside, put the pressure on from the outside for the sack.
Boy, it's been a long second half for Elway. This half now, Denver is a total of 26 yards in offense. Elway trying to get some of it back, almost intercepted by Browner again. Joey Browner's been all over the place. Mark Jackson, the intended receiver.
Browner hanging in there. Keep in mind, this is a good football team before the strike. They're just coming back. And see, there's the stats.
But again, some of that's a little misleading because, again, it's replacement players. But it is stark because the Broncos just don't have, you know, the kind of offense. I don't care whether they've been on strike or where they are. They've never had so many misfires, so many problems they've had tonight. This is really unheard of for a John Elway team. Pressure coming. This time he's on target. Beautiful throw. Catch is made by Clarence Kay, and they get a first down on a 3rd and 19. That's a 24-yard pickup.
24-yard pickup. Earlier in the ball game, we told you about Billy Bryan being out with the knee injury. That Larry Lee is in there making those line calls. I talked to him before the game. Watching the protection, we're watching these guys blitz and stun around. He said they have a call for the line called a pocket call. That's just blanket protection where they pick up the first front 4 people and a linebacker. But I think what's happening when the linebackers and people come to the outside, the backs just aren't picking them up.
Elway, a rifle shot and another first down. It's Kay again. He's finding the 6'2", 240-pounder. Henderson made the stop. They moved the chains again to the 35-yard line, a 14-yard pickup. Right now, Elway and Kay kind of playing catch out there. Kay with 4 catches for 63 yards. 6 minutes, 57 seconds left. Delayed handoff to Winder. Winder has another first down to the 20-yard line. Henderson on the stop again. All of a sudden now their offense starting to perk up. That's another 14-yard pickup.
Well, the offensive line starting to perk up. The tempo of the game for the Broncos starting to pick up. They're taking advantage of what this Viking defense is giving them. They're putting on the great pass rush, so they're dumping off the short passes and then coming back with the draw to slow up the pass rush.
We have a man shaken up for Minnesota. We'll check his status when we return. 34-17, Minnesota.
Can you get that kind of tan down in the desert where you live?
I don't think you can get a tan indoors here. I don't know about that. First down now from the 20-yard line. Elway's had this drive going pretty well. This one misfires. He just kind of sidearmed that one into the turf. Interestingly enough, on this drive, Denver's picked up 57 yards. They had only 35 yards the entire half before this last drive. There's Dolman, who was shaken up earlier. Looks like he's all right. Out of Pittsburgh. First-round draft pick in 85. They had to convince him to move to defensive end. He thought he was a linebacker. But the way he's playing, I think not only has he convinced himself, he's convinced everybody else. Second down 10 now from the 20. 6.5 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Elway gives off to Winder. He gets out of the grasp of Martin. Gets a block, and then John Harris is up there, and that play just never did develop as they lose yardage on the play. I want to remind our viewers, Lynn, that tonight on Nightline, cholesterol and heart disease. ABC News medical editor, Dr. Timothy Johnson, and what you need to know about cholesterol to save your life. That's tonight on Nightline. Well, they lost some yardage. Icebox. Tim Newton comes out of the ball game now.
Well, we're seeing it in spurts. We're seeing it most consistently in the second half by the Vikings, and right now by Denver in this drive. We're seeing the football that they're capable of. Once they get back in the flow of things, we'll see much more consistently. They're just starting to regroup.
Well, they got to regroup for next week. Third down, 13 for Elway. going to run out of there to the 15. Going to try to get the first and goal, and he got it. But, boy, you got to get nervous when you see your quarterback running around the open field like that. David Howard was over there to make the stop. Now we have a fight going, and that may be precipitated by the fact that they were going after Elway, as you will in a situation like that. Millard being pushed back. He did get the first and goal, and we have another man down. It looks like Browner again having trouble with the leg cramps.
Well, you know that Elway is a tough competitor. He's just getting fed up. He's been the victim. Now he's deciding to dish out a little bit of punishment. He gets hit here by, looks like Dolman over there, or that's David Howard, 51. Pops him into Carl Lee.
Yeah, it is not Browner. We're corrected. That's Neil Gugamos who's having, looks like the same problem, doesn't it? The cramps.
Yep.
So Gugamos instead of Browner. We stand corrected. Yep, you can see it. It's just, it's, boy, those things, I don't know if you've ever had them. I know you have, Lynn. They knot up on you, and they are as painful as anything. And right now, they're trying to get that toe back up. We did have a penalty flag now, and that probably results around the point of impact around John Elway. Waiting on Tom Dooley to sort it out for us.
I think this time of the year, it gets pretty dry.
Foul, 75 defense. First down.
That's Millard. And, of course, that was around where Elway went down. Here's Gugamos coming off, and he'll be all right.
You know, the air gets real dry when it's cold. And you go out there and you're sweating, you're working out, and you don't really think you're losing a lot of the moisture in your body, but you are, and you have to keep replenishing that. Plus, you also have to get that potassium and all the chemicals and natural chemicals back in your body. They're just not doing it.
Plus salt tablets. A lot of guys use that, too.
The guys have been staying away from salt tablets for a long time.
Have they?
Yeah.
Well, I'm an old-timer. We used to use salt tablets.
Well, you
this new modern medicine, I don't know.
You're not that old, Harry.
First and goal now from the 4-yard line. Crowd kind of into this one. Elway in trouble. He gets hit hard, throws into the end zone. Broken up. Lang, the intended receiver. Harris, number 44, was there, but I was almost distracted by the punishment that Elway was taking back at the 15-yard line.
That's a touchdown.
He caught it?
That was a catch.
I did not see it. I was watching Elway. Watch this pressure put on.
It's low, and he's behind other receivers in the defensive back.
Ooh.
The ball comes in. He just gets down over it.
He did catch it.
And makes a grab. Take another look. The pressure has not stopped. Elway's still under it. He doesn't even get his arm completely back to throw this football. He like shot puts it across the line.
Well, it is a touchdown. And the point after is added. That cuts it down to 10 again. 34-24. Very interesting play at that time. 9 plays, 63 yards, culminating in the touchdown toss. Let's look at it again.
Now watch Elway's arm. He doesn't even get a full drop back there as he just flings it into the end zone. His man, number 33, Gene Lang, open only for a second there, makes a very good catch.
Boy, I tell you, that shows you, though, how quickly Elway can get things going. Just a little flick. He didn't get it all off, and he really paid for it. He's taking a pretty good pounding today.
Yeah, that's why he's making over $1 million a year.
Uh-oh.
That's why he's making that kind of money.
That doesn't sound like that was, well, never mind.
Well, I think he's well paid, and I don't think he's overpaid.
Okay.
All right? This man, John Elway, is this offensive unit. And this unit will play as well as he plays. It's a lot of pressure. You know, he has to hang in there. I was at the playoff game last year against Cleveland. In the overtime, he just drove his team down there. I mean, that kind of player, you're going to pay that kind of money.
Hey,
Art Rooney Sr. said, you can never overpay a great ball player.
That sounds like one of your negotiations. Let me ask you something.
He got me cheap.
Is this guy the best in the league?
He's got to be one of the best in terms of what he can do. You know, personally, there's one other player I think that's on the same level as he is in terms of his ability to throw the football, his intelligence about the game. Unfortunately, he's not playing on as good a team, and I think that's Jim Kelly.
Boy, he really played well yesterday.
Danny Marino is an outstanding quarterback. He's got a strong team. But the two quarterbacks I'd play for any time in this league come out of retirement. Maybe. It'll be Elway and Jim Kelly.
The kickoff by Carlos. They have Nelson back to return this one. Darren Nelson for the Vikings. Out to the 20, 25, 30. Excellent return. Guggemos was shaken up earlier, so he could not return this kickoff. And so Nelson brings it out. Simon Fletcher stops him, but that's a 32-yard return by Darren Nelson. Well, Elway's numbers have improved on that last drive. He's 21 of 37, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So it's back to a 10-point game with 5:16. Leo Losa comes split to the near side. Hassan Jones split to the top. In motion, that's right. Pressure blitz from Dennis Smith. They read it. They get it off to Jordan, and Jordan has the first down. Very good read that time by Wilson. He had to get rid of it because Dennis Smith was coming after him.
Denver Broncos don't blitz often. We pointed that out to you before. They had only blitzed 8 times. Smith comes in that time, but when you blitz, and you're susceptible to a big play.
First down out to the 46.5-yard line. Rice, Dozier in the backfield. One thing this Viking team has now, they have some depth at the running back spot. When you got Dozier and Nelson, that's pretty good depth. Wilson rolling. Jordan can't hang on. It's intercepted. Dennis Smith. And now the Broncos aren't out of this one. Not at all with 5:02 to go.
Smith.
That was Robbins with the interception. That was not Dennis Smith.
He's getting up a bit slow. Number 48, Reggie Rutland.
No, that's Robbins, isn't it?
Excuse me. Yes, Robbins.
I had Dennis Smith first, but it's Randy Robbins out of Arizona. His 4th-year man, and a little bit shaken up on the play.
I was just about to say, honest, really, Jerry, I was just about to say that what Denver needs is their defense to come up with a turnover. 5 minutes to play in the ball game. They need their defense to come get the ball back to them to give their offense a chance to march down the field.
That's a 5th interception thrown by Wade Wilson. He came into this ball game with the 6 touchdown passes and had thrown in 3 interceptions in the first 2 games. The last 2 starts at the end of '86, he had 300-yard games. He had thrown for 248 yards, 285 yards, and tonight had some pretty good yardage that he's been able to mount up, but 5 interceptions, that's not what Jerry Burns had in mind. The 5 interceptions, by the way, ties a Viking record. Seems like we've had a lot of records tied or closely tied. It's been that kind of game. So now the Broncos with 5:02 left, down by 10. They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. The line of scrimmage at the 41-yard line. Needs some time. Gets away from Joey Browner. They're blocking Browner, double teaming him, and he's on target. The catch is made, and that is Rick Massey, one of the 4 guys off of the replacement team. That's a 19-yard catch. John Harris dropped him at the 40, first down.
He had 3 wide receivers in the ball game. Massey, one of the replacement players, had 6 catches for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. In the 3 games that he was involved in prior to this one.
He's out of Kentucky. From the 40, first down, and Elway trying to bring these Broncos back. On target, can't hang on. Mateel had pretty good coverage that time from Carl Lee. That'll stop the clock with 4:19. Bring up second down 10.
I just picked it up on that last play. Number 54, Jesse Solomon, outside backer, just delayed a bit on that last play. And then he blitzed coming into the outside. Before down lineman tied up all the blocking up front. Then he came to the outside to try to apply pressure to John Elway.
You're wondering about that circle there, the white stripe. That's the mark for the infield, and he used it last night for Game 7. Second down 10. From the shotgun, and hand off to Steve Sewell. Sewell wanted to throw it. He can't get rid of it. Elway was actually headed downfield. He was one of the targets. But Sewell didn't have time to throw the ball because this guy, Millard, was in his face.
Millard was in his face, and it's probably a good thing because everybody was covered, even John Elway. Number 47, Joey Browner, was covering him. Elway didn't want to have to catch the ball in front of Joey.
Well, that was just good defense. Sewell is so versatile. He can play a running back, a wide receiver. As you can see, they think he can throw the football. That's the 5th sack of the game now for a loss of 39, as you can see on your screen. 3rd and 19. Elway, protection is there. He's past the line of scrimmage. He's got to take off. He gets out of bounds. It's going to be a 4th down now, and still 3 or 4 yards to go. He picked up about 15 yards scrambling. He had somebody open, but by the time that happened, he had cleared the line of scrimmage, and he couldn't throw the ball.
John Elway was walking back to the center of the field. Even though it was 4th down, he figured he was going to go back in, call another play. Coach Reeves decides not.
Are you surprised? 4th down? I mean, there's not a lot of time left. Why are they going to try a field goal?
Well, they're behind by 10 points.
Yep, that's all right. Now, I didn't see him come out. This will be a 51-yarder. It would tie Carlos's longest. He hit one 51 yards a year ago. It's almost blocked. It's got enough distance. It's good.
For the success of that play is the very reason why Dan Reeves is down there, considered one of the outstanding coaches in the National Football League. Behind by 10 points, he knows he has to score a touchdown and get a field goal. You see how close it comes to being blocked. Carlos just hangs in there, follows through, and it's right through the uprights.
Last year he kicked a 51-yarder. He's been over 100 points 3 straight years, and he's watching that one. And he knew he had that one. He hit it strong right down the middle. There was little question on the distance. And Carlos now has given this team a very good chance to come back and at least tie this game. 34-27. Hard to remember, but way back when, it was 34-17 as we had started the 4th quarter.
Right now on this kickoff, you have all your sure-handed receivers up, looking for an onside kick. You see number 83, Jordan's down there. Tight end, Hilton is down there. Looking for the onside kick.
They're going to kick away. Nelson back again at the 5. And Nelson hit hard as he comes across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Remember now, both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining. Mark Munford, the rookie from Nebraska, down to make the stop. And a game that looked like it might be put away, 34-17, all of a sudden is still at stake. The Vikings haven't put the Broncos away. With 3:04 left to go, Denver scoring 10 points in the last 2 minutes and 26 seconds.
For all you armchair quarterbacks at home wondering, especially in Denver, why it didn't go for the onside kick. Well, when you've intercepted that team 5 times, you figure your defense can always come up with the ball again without taking the big chance.
Rice and Nelson in the backfield. This is Darren Nelson trying to turn the near side. The white shirts arrived there. Good reaction that time. That's Cragen, number 71 out of Utah State, and Mecklenburg. Mecklenburg just plays full tilt all the time. He was the AFC Player of the Year last year. He used to hold the sack record for the Broncos. He had 13, and then Rulon Jones broke it with 13.5 last season. 2nd down, 7. Gain of 3. Rice, Dozier in the backfield for the Vikings. They're taking their time getting to the line of scrimmage. 2.5 minutes to go.
Using up as much of that clock as they can.
2nd and 7. Quick pitch comes back to Rice, and Rice very, very close to the 1st down. Nothing fancy about those last 2 plays. Just pitch and go. Nothing
fancy at all. They're going back to what they wanted to do early in the ballgame, run to the outside. They've done it successfully on 2 plays.
And so we've come to the 2-minute warning. Broncos somehow trying to get the football. We'll be back. Just completed the 2-minute warning. Interesting thought and an interesting stat has just been passed to us by producer Bob Goodrich. There have been 735 points scored. 36, correct. 736 points scored up to this moment this weekend in the National Football League. That's second only to 1983, the 7th week, when they scored 761 points. A lot of offense.
All the scores this weekend have been real big. The offensive units of timing has been there. The defense not reacting as quickly because of the layoff. A lot of points being scored.
First down 10. Garrett Nelson, the only running back. They come to this side again. That's 3 straight tosses to the near side. Nelson picking up 4, almost 5 yards. The final now. Cleveland defeating the Rams 30-17, and John Robinson's got to be suffering.
Yeah, he's looking at a ball club that is much better than that score indicates. Got a few problems there.
Denver, by the way, using their first timeout. They have 2 remaining with 1:50 left to go in the game. Yeah, it's hard to believe. The Rams, looking at them on paper, of course, you don't win games on paper, but they look like they have an awful lot of weapons offensively. I feel that Jim Everett could be as good as this guy out here someday, Elway.
Well, they brought Jim Everett in, and he's got talent, he's got tools. They bring him into an organization, offensive unit that was relying solely on Eric Dickerson to run the football. Teams were lining up 8 people on the defensive front saying, yes, we know you're going to run the football. John says, of course I'm going to run the football, and they were still winning, making it to the playoffs. And with Jim Everett, gave them another weapon, another tool. Just not happening.
Jerry Burns, 11-10 record in his year plus at Minnesota. Rice in the backfield. They're going to give it to him, and they are opening some holes. That's another first down, and that might do it. Andre Townsend made the stop, but all of a sudden they just said, okay, we're going to control the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what they've done.
I think I heard that Viking blowing his horn somewhere in the distance.
The call of the Great Northwest, or the Great North, I guess it is here. Where are we? Hey, I want to thank our spotter, Bill Breslin, our statistician, Roger Riley, for their work. Bob Goodrich, our producer, Andy Sedaris, our director. They're still down there, aren't they?
I think so.
Okay. Also, some other people we certainly want to thank as this big weekend here in Minnesota for ABC with the World Series. And, of course, this game, there's another straight-ahead handoff. Bob Bernthal, we talked about him earlier, our technical director, associate director Jack Graham, our technical manager Mark Smith, unit managers Ed Delaney. And now they're going to use another timeout. That will give them 1 with 49 seconds left to go. Jerry Reuter, our telecommunications manager, Bruce Clark, and Mike Cohen, our assistants to the producer. And Arthur Bodegian. I'm sorry, I meant to mention that, also one of our unit managers. Bodegian and Delaney. Sound like a double play combination to me. So 49 seconds left as we are coming to the close of this football game. Minnesota picking up this victory, leaving their record at 3-3 for the year. Okay, this ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered draft beer. It's as good as it gets. By Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. By Kellogg's Nutrific cereal. It's 4 brand new. By Tandy Computers, there is no better value. And so Nelson, trying to pick up another first down, appears to be, check that, Rice about a yard short. Mecklenburg on the stop. Another timeout, and that's the last for the Denver Broncos.
The Denver Broncos hoping that something could happen, a fumble, anything, give them a chance.
Hey, how about your Pittsburgh Steelers? Are they coming back now, Lynn?
Well, I hope so. They've had some tough times there. They played well enough with the replacement players. They won a game against Cincinnati yesterday. Looked pretty good. Ray Cleveland's playing. I picked Cleveland to win the division. Go on and actually pick Cleveland to be in the Super Bowl this year. But
How about the AFC West? I see where Bo Jackson didn't play yesterday for the Raiders. I think that kind of upset him the way it sounded. He said no comment, but it didn't sound like it was a very happy situation. But right now it's San Diego. Are they for real?
I think they are. Al Saunders, who is their head coach, was my freshman coach at USC. Always liked him. Very smart, bright coach. Managed people well. Always got the most out of him, and I think he's made a good move in pushing the defense and making San Diego think more about the run instead of just the pass.
And, of course, the Boz will get Seattle over the top, right?
Well, I'll tell you, the AFC West is so competitive, so tough with Boz, you know, with the Seattle playing so well, Knox doing a great job up there, San Diego, the Raiders, Denver.
That was Rice again, trying to struggle forward on a third down, a yard and a half to go. Hundley impeded his forward movement, and they may have to measure to see if he got the first down. They've stopped the clock with 31 seconds.
And how do you feel like a team like Denver? I said it a couple of times tonight. You go 11-5 in the season. You think that's good enough for at least a wild card berth? They couldn't even get a wild card berth in 1985.
Well, the owners meet tomorrow in Kansas City. They are talking about having a split season format. They could go to 16 teams in the playoff. They could have 8 wild cards. There's all kinds of talk about that. I know Minnesota would like to see it. Their win tonight certainly will soften the blow of what happened with their replacement team. It's fourth down. They did not get it.
They did not get it. I'll tell you the team who would like to see it more than the Vikings, the Giants.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they played well yesterday, though, didn't they? The Giants, Sims just came back and played great. So the clock started once again. The Vikings will be in no hurry to snap this one. Depends on where they started. They may not have to take another snap. So they would have a second left, I believe. They do have to snap this one. So on fourth down, they'll wait till the last second.
If he takes a snap and kind of runs around a bit, a receiver should go behind him just to make sure.
That'll do it. Minnesota defeats Denver, and so the successful weekend in the land of 10,000 lakes has been concluded with a victory by the Twins as well as the Vikings. And Chicago on top 5-1. Then comes Green Bay. Minnesota 3-3 with Tampa Bay and Kansas City on the bottom. And then in the West, we talked about San Diego, Seattle a step away. Denver dropping back. They could have been within a half game of the Chargers, but did not get it done tonight. And so it's 34-27. For Lynn Swan, I'm Gary Bender. Saturday begins with ABC's college football.